According to the little number here, it says we're actually 6 minutes early, but I don't go by that, so screw it. Guys, welcome to the show. This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monkey. He's Jack. Say hello, Jack.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Decolonizing Clocks.
Indeed, indeed. Jack, we got a big show today. I actually had big show in the title, but they made the title too long. Big show for you guys today. Lots to talk about. Fun stuff, dumb stuff, and scary stuff, actually. So strap in. It's going to be a fun one. Jack, how you been, man?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm regressed. Let's just call it that.
Oh.
And leave it at that because nobody wants to talk about that shit. Let's talk about how great I am. I had a wonderful conversation with Little Butt today. She called me on a little app where we can see each other and we talk, and got to see her and her sister. I got to see the one-legged cat go running. Still looks like a shaved chicken on the one side, or a plucked chicken on the one side. I guess you don't shave a chicken. Could you shave a chicken? I guess you could.
Conceivably, I don't think it would look real good.
I don't think it would do a good job because it wouldn't get like the little feather things out.
Yeah,
the skin would be
all discombobulated.
Yeah, don't shave your chickens. If you learn nothing else from us, don't shave chickens. Pluck them like a normal person.
If your chicken has fur, that's not a chicken.
We get onto the weirdest topics.
This is wee stuff. I'm normal.
But anyway, Little Butt, she was showing me all of the prizes that she got last year from her what's it called, fundraiser. Guys, remember, fundraiser is back in effect. If you would like to donate to that, it's for the American Heart Association. Little Butt's class raises money for it. She gets prizes if she gets it. So just let me know in the donation that is for that, and it'll go straight to her. But oh my gosh, she got so much stuff. She goes, "You want to see my favorite one?" I'm like, "Sure." And it's this little green monster guy wearing a hat and has a megaphone. I'm like, "Why that one?" And she's like, "It's the biggest." I'm like, "All right." I mean, that's a good reason. Yeah, she's really excited about it. And then she set it up. She has a mat where she can do gymnastic stuff on it.
Oh,
this girl loves to do flips and stuff. That's what she spends like most of her time doing. So she set up the camera and was doing flips and stuff as we talk. Yeah, I watch it and just go, "Oh my God, my back hurts even looking at that." But she enjoys it. She enjoys it. And then her sister gets in on it, and all she does is rolls, and it's the cutest little thing. But yeah, see, this is what I talk about, guys. I'm like, my body may be shit, but I have a great life, and I'm always happy because shit like that happens. Little Butt and me talked for about 2 hours today. Half the time just sitting there with each other, like, "How you doing?" Just so we could be close.
oh,
Yeah. Anyhow, let's move along. Guys, if you're interested in the more political stuff, that's going to come. Give me about 45 minutes or so, because we got to jump into this Ethan Klein stuff, Jack, because I just have to. I can't help myself. Every time this idiot tops his last dumb thing, I'm just like, how did you do that? How did you get dumber? How did you get dumber?
It's an impressive feat, let me tell you.
It really is. And this time it concerns a man named Andrew Callahan, who, I'll be honest, I'd never heard of before, Jack. He runs a channel here on YouTube called Channel 5, which I had heard of, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know shit about it. It's this kind of documentary style channel. He goes out and does man on the street interviews and that kind of stuff. Typical lefty little shitbag. Yeah, and he just made a movie for HBO, Jack. He just got a documentary. It came out the other day. What's it called? This Place Rules, and it's the build up to January 6th, where he goes around to a bunch of crazy people at rallies and says, this is what basically caused it. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, that's basically it. And well, just a couple of days after that happens, old Andrew here, put him on the screen. Doesn't he look like a treat?
Is this the guy that wiped poop all over an Airbnb?
It's alleged that he did that, but there's no confirmation.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Real quick, thank you, Darth Mando, who says you can shave a chicken. And he sent me an image link to what appears to be a furry chicken.
Well, I mean, you can shave a chicken, you just shouldn't, was our point. So if you have a furry chicken and you shave it, you're still going to have the little quill ends in the skin.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how any of that works.
Donald Camp, thank you so much. This money's for Little Butt. Hi, Jack. My wife got her awesome backpack.
Oh, awesome.
Sweet.
And thank you for the support, Donald.
And thank you for that feminist $12 going out to Little Butts, to the American Heart Association, actually. So thank you so very much for that. All right, Andrew here has a problem. You see, a woman came out and said that she was with him, and he said, "You want to have sex?" And she said, "No." And a little while later, he's like, "Come on, let's have the sex." And she's like, "No." And this went on for a little while till she finally was like, "All right, we can do it if you leave me alone."
I believe that's called the wearing them down tactic.
It really is. That's exactly what it is. And after that came out, there were a whole bunch of people who came out on Andrew's side and like, no, Andrew would never do that. Yeah, because male feminists never do that. Until a second woman, and then a third woman, and then a fourth woman. And it just comes out that this guy is a sex pest. He will pester you until you have sex with him. Now, ladies, if you consent, that is still on you. As far as we know, none of them ever told him no, and he still kept going. You know, he always waited until she was like, "All right, fuck it, you can do it." Which, by the way, best way to have sex is with a woman who's like, "Yeah, please just get it over with." You're still responsible. You still did it, but that doesn't make him any less of a sex pest. So he comes out with this video here, Jack, where he starts out in the usual male feminist manner of, I would like to thank, I would show the video, but it's really quiet. I'll put a link into chat. What's up, Beast Boy? How you doing?
Hey,
I'll put the link into chat so you guys can watch it yourself, but it's so quiet that since we're not on OBS, I have no way of turning it up. But he comes out in the first, I'd like to thank all of the women who came forward. I didn't even realize that I had a pattern of doing this.
Oh my God. Like Evolve said, so he's a douchebag, not a rapist.
Yeah, he's a sex pest is what he is.
Yeah, you just pestering chicks till they give in. I mean, it's a tactic. It works. I mean, it's like camping in video games.
Yeah. It's douchey, and I mean, if that's how you get it, I mean, go ahead.
It's still legit. It's just a scummy thing to do.
He says in here, Jack, that part of the problem was I thought if I was leaving the bar and I went home alone that I was a loser.
Well, he kind of looks like a loser anyway.
Well, nobody was saying you asking girls to come home with you. This is talking about after you've got them in a place alone. But he pulls my favorite thing ever, Jack.
Did he say that he wanted to apologize for living on stolen land?
No. He didn't go that far. He's going to go into a 12-step program. You see, it's the alcohol that turns him into that sex pesty douche.
Oh, it's the Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yeah.
When he's got that booze in him, he gets all rapey.
He gets a little rapey. Oh shit! I just closed that, and I said I was going to send it to people. Hang on, let me reopen it so I can send it back to you guys. But yeah, that's his excuse for it. Like, yeah, sorry. Now, I'd also like to point out that he puts out this video. He does it on his Instagram, but on YouTube, he shares it to his personal channel, which has 5,000 subscribers. His main channel, that channel 5, that has 2.2 million subscribers. For some reason, he didn't share it over there, Jack. I'm not sure why.
Some mystery.
The begging and pleading technique, always a winner. I mean, yeah, I don't know about a winner, but it's certainly effective, I guess. If you just keep saying no, well, maybe with him, I don't know. I don't know what he would do if they kept saying no, because apparently that never happened. But it'll shock you to learn, Jack, that this guy is friends with Hassan Abi, Mr. Hassan Piker, He was just on his show the other day when his documentary came out. That's an interesting one to watch. But he's also very good friends with friend of our show, Jack, Ethan Klein.
I think friend is a generous assessment of that relationship.
I feel like me and him are good friends. We've been together so much and we've been through so many things together. Ethan, come on, man. Hook me up with Susan so I can get my channel where I don't have to beg to have every video monetized.
He does have her phone number.
Ethan is gonna help you guys out, Jack. He's gonna teach y'all how not to have this problem because all of his friends are rapey. Ethan, I feel like maybe you're hanging out with the wrong people. Now we're not going to watch all of this video. There's only a couple of parts of it. The beginning, and then we're going to jump ahead a little bit. And Jack, it's amazing.
Stevie said he should have given a trigger warning before putting that on screen.
I like how he literally has triple chins now.
Yeah, he's lost some weight, actually.
How you lose weight and gain a chin?
Oh, the chin was always there. It was just so big, it looked like a goiter.
All right. Ethan, how do we not get in trouble for being rapey towards women?
Here I am, guys, doing my first ever cell phone video. This has never been done before. In fact, I'm out here on vacation.
Good job, Ethan. You've done what every 13-year-old girl in the country's done.
Yeah.
Can we get a round of applause for Ethan?
Yay. To address what Fabian just asked, or said in chat. Looks. Sure, we'll go with that. I think you meant is.
What did he say? I didn't see
He
it.
looks retarded.
Oh, yeah. I think we're past looks on that. This is the guy we talked about yesterday who doxed the wrong person as he white knighted for a woman who was lying about being abused.
Yep. It told his followers to harass that person.
Yes.
My fam, the kids are asleep. Everyone's asleep. And listen, I had something on my mind. So I said, hey, I got a cell phone. I think I could just upload it directly. And I got something that I really want to get your guys' opinion on.
Okay, here we go.
I tweeted out something today that was
I didn't realize he had his Twitter back.
I didn't either. I don't really care though because he's an idiot and I hate him.
Yeah, but I like messing with idiots. I got blocked by one today.
I know. I got blocked too by that same guy.
John over there at TYT. I told him to blow me, so I don't really blame him for blocking me. But he was saying that no conservative should be talking about MLK because you really don't like black people, is basically what he said.
Yeah, I asked him if he spent all year polishing that armor so he could white knight.
Look, I actually like what MLK stood for. Look, I know there's parts where, oh, he was communist. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on the civil rights thing. I am for equality, period. Equality of opportunity, which is what that man preached. Martin Luther King, if you look at what he said back then and what the liberals say today, is spinning in his fucking grave. You guys have literally taken his most iconic moment from his most iconic speech and shit all over it. And you're going to tell me I have no reason to be celebrating the man? Fuck you. Or as I said to him, blow me. Sorry, I was a little aside there. Let's get back to Ethan. He's got stuff on his mind. He tweeted you guys, and this is what he said.
In fact, saying something like famous men should not have random sex with anyone, especially fans and when alcohol is involved.
Look, I tell people on YouTube not to bang your fans because this shit always comes back to haunt them.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about just in general, this is stupid. This is what rock stars have been doing since rock became a thing.
Oh yeah, musicians throughout history, bards were getting tang, actors,
Athletes, yeah.
athletes, yeah,
And
nobles, rich people.
and you know what? Very few of them have women come forward and be like, yeah, they took advantage of me. It just doesn't happen. You know when it happens is when the girl's like, please stop. I don't want to do this. And you just keep going.
Yeah. Or they're in it for a cash grab.
Or they're in it for a cash grab. But you just don't see it that often.
No.
I mean, every time we do see it, you have to compare that to how many times it happened. What
Yeah.
Tiger Woods was banging everybody. And nobody came forward and accused him of using his power or abusing them or forcing them into any kind of thing. None of them did. But Ethan, oh, you guys, if you got fame, you can't be banging. No. It's not that you can't be banging chicks. You can't be banging chicks who don't want to be banged. That's the difference, Ethan. And your friends, for some reason, can't understand that. The little male feminist pieces of shit that you hang out with can't understand. Don't try to stick your dick in somebody who doesn't want it there. Poets and troubadours did it all the time. Yeah, this is not a new phenomenon. What is a new phenomenon is these guys who keep getting in trouble for it, who tend to be male feminists. And it always goes back to women who didn't want to do it. Here, I'm going to help you guys out. There's a lot of women out there. And if you go to one and she's like, I don't want to do it, find a different one. Am I wrong on that? I mean, go find one who actually wants your little nasty thing in them. The implication, indeed, Fabian, the implication.
Real quick, thank you, understatement. Getting tired of everything women don't like being a big deal. If men that beg for it are sex pests and need to be canceled, then every car salesman or marketeer needs to go to jail. Women need to either start wearing burqas or take accountability. You want a woman to take accountability, sir? That may never ever happen. That is like wishing for a unicorn.
I hear you, but when it comes to the left, I disagree because these guys preach this same bullshit and then still do it.
Yeah, it's the hypocrisy.
Yep, exactly.
But he's not wrong, though. Women do need to take some responsibility. I mean, look at that
Absolutely.
chick that Aziz Ansari fooled around
Yes.
with. That and the chicks that were messing with Louis C.K. and some of Harvey Weinstein's. It's time to buck up, guys.
Yeah.
Like take some responsibility in your lives.
In the Weinstein case, if he actually raped some, which he was convicted of, then absolutely send his ass to jail. But most of the stories we heard was, I sucked a dick for a part. He made it seem like I had to do it to get the part. Well, you still agreed, right? That was a choice you made. You weren't forced into it. But he had the power. You still agreed. You had a different choice. That is on you. I absolutely agree with that point, Jack. But when it comes to these little male feminists who repeat this shit, fuck them.
Well, you can't trust a male feminist. I
No.
mean, that's just science.
They're creeps.
Yeah.
Over and over again, we see it. It's like finding a pedophile in Antifa. It's going to happen.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I think what he's talking about, what Ethan mentioned right away was alcohol.
Yes.
It wouldn't surprise me because I've met male feminists. They'll ply chicks with alcohol to wear them down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how about now? How about now? That's sleazy. That is some really underhanded, dirty shit. And yeah, I wish you guys would stop doing that because don't purposely get a chick to where she can't consent.
And again, there's a huge difference between being famous and women throwing themselves at you and you trying to use your fame to force a woman into sex who didn't want to do it clearly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's conflating those two here.
Yes. But let's get back to Ethan because he's got some stuff to say and I want to mock him more. Because it's so much fun. I know it's against the rules and specifically rules that he helped get instituted, which just makes it more fun, I guess. But I can't stop, Jack. For the record, the last time we actually made fun of him, that's when we got our strike. So I got to be careful. It wasn't for that. It wasn't for that, you guys. Of course,
Say.
course it wasn't for that. It would just happen to be the video was that same one. Sure. Anyway, Ethan, tell us what else is on your mind, sir. I like talking to him like he's actually here. I'd like to talk to Ethan, but he'd probably bring on somebody else instead.
Yeah, probably.
I'd like to ask him about all the horrible relations that he has, all the bad friends that he keeps hooking up with. Maybe, Ethan, it has something to do with the fact that you're a grown-ass adult who dresses like a toddler, and you have really fucked up worldview. I'm just throwing that out there.
He's just better than you.
He is better than me. He's got that $9 million house. By the way, you bought a $9 million house. You're kind of a douche. You know what you could buy for $9 million here, Jack? I don't know if there's a $9 million house in Michigan.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Like, I could buy a lot of houses for $9 million.
No shit. I could buy a neighborhood. All right. Anyway.
And there was some people that agreed, obviously, but there was a lot of people I saw this comment. Well, what's the point of becoming famous then?
I'm not saying that comment didn't happen, but I doubt it's the triggering moment that he has here. What's the point of becoming famous? Yeah, that's why everybody thinks you should get famous is to get laid.
It's a perk.
It's a perk, yeah.
I mean, for younger guys, that absolutely is a good reason to get famous because they're horny all the time.
And that kind of begs the question, like, well, if the reason you're becoming famous is for the sole reason.
Okay, I got to go back. His tics in this one are fucking outrageous. I do not believe he actually has these tics. Is that all right for me to say? Because
I have no idea anymore. Rules keep changing.
The way his tics keep changing is just weird.
He has that semi-automatic Tourette's.
Yes. Anyway, because it used to be his eyes. Remember his eyes, and then his hand. His little. It looked like his hand was going gay without him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Now it's the neck. He gets a new tic like every 6 months. All right. Anyway, back. I do want to capture what he was saying here, but I had to stop that because the fucking tics are driving me nuts. Sorry if you actually have the Tourette's. I have Tourette's too, and it causes me to question other people with Tourette's. That's my tic.
Oh.
Yeah, it really is.
That was in effect saying something like famous men should not have random sex with anyone.
I went back too far. I'm sorry.
Especially fans and when alcohol's involved. And there was some people that agreed, obviously, but there was a lot of people I saw this comment. Well, what's the point of becoming?
We need to stop that right there too, because of the alcohol involved. This goes back to kind of your last super chat and Bering's video from so long ago. Because remember, there was that college where it's like if a woman has been drinking at all and you have sex with her, it's rape. If a man's been drinking, no big deal. And they actually had the video that they put out where the two had been drinking together, but if they would have had sex, he would have been raping her. And Bering asked the question, well, does this mean women should not be allowed to drink if they lose all agency when they have a drink?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that completely. If you're not going to take any responsibility for your life, like Understatement said, wear the fucking burqa.
Yep. If you lose all agency at that point, what about women who drink and drive? Are they guilty? Or is it not their fault? They just alcohol, they can't be expected to act right with it.
Oh, women can't handle responsibility, monkey. They're so special.
It is so infantilizing.
Oh, it absolutely is. But the court system favors women. So, dudes, if you ply a woman with alcohol and have sex with her, you're going to catch a charge. That's why you shouldn't do it. Because you're probably going to go to jail for rape. And then you're going to get raped in jail. And you're going to have a 7-inch poop shoot.
We should point this out, too. This was a college. And at the time, this is when colleges are getting their power to basically become courts and find men guilty without, at the time, not even being able to defend themselves.
Oh, Title IX is to protect women, monkey.
Nut says, I've been pretty damn drunk and have always known what I was doing. Look, I know people who get blackout drunk. It does happen, but that was still something you did. There was the one case where the girl, this is how it all came up, was because Bering was on a stream with Chicken Fucker and somebody else, and they came up with this scenario where a girl, she's drinking and she blacks out, but to everybody else, she seems normal. She's still walking around. She walks to the bedroom with the guy, but she comes out of her blackout in the middle of it, and he's on top of her having sex, and then she blacks out again, and then she wakes up again where she's throwing up, going home. And the question was, well, did she consent to it? And well, she couldn't because she was blackout drunk. But how does he know she's blacked out at that point? How does he know she's so drunk to the part she doesn't actually understand what's going on?
Well, if he had called Miss Cleo, he would know.
Yeah. Chicken Fucker. Michael, what the fuck is his last name? Rollins. Michael Rollins. That
dude was such a douche.
That is really old monkey lore. Really old monkey lore. Anyway, let's get back to dipshit here.
Famous then. And that kind of begs the question, like, well, if the reason you're becoming famous is for the sole reason of having lots of random sex with women, that's going to be a problem.
Why? Why is that a problem?
Well, our dear leader here told us so.
Who cares what your motivation is for getting famous? As long as it's not to rape women, if it's to have lots of consensual sex with women, what's the problem? It's gross. I'll give him that, Jack. But it's not criminal. Huh. What a wonderful pause. It looks like he's trying to eat his nose.
I almost got it this time, mommy.
He's eating his face right now, guys. All right.
And listen, I'm saying this, man. I'm having friends who are being basically doing horrible things, right, and getting called out.
He had a lot of trouble expressing that.
Well, he's kind of stupid, so.
I have a lot of friends who are sex pests. That's all you had to say, homie. Because there's a difference from what your friends are doing and getting famous and having women throw the puss at you. Jack, I was watching a documentary. I forget what it was exactly, but it was on the band Poison. And they were talking about how it was to be them at the height of their popularity. And this wasn't them talking. This was somebody else, like one of their managers or a journalist. I forget which it was. And they said they would have women walk up to them backstage and go, excuse me, could I just suck your dick for a minute? There are women who do this, Ethan. There are women who throw themselves at fame. Your friends are fucking degenerates. There's a whole difference there. Stop putting your douchey friend's behavior on everybody else. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, not every famous person is a complete degenerate piece of shit. I'm sure there's one or two normal people out there.
And it's happening way too much. This is happening way too much. And I think to myself, how is it that there's so many men, famous men, who are still doing this shit despite knowing that this is a problem?
May I make a correction here?
Please.
He's saying that, but he just said there are so many of his friends.
Yes.
Maybe he just needs not degenerate friends.
Yeah, maybe stop hanging out with sex pests.
He's amplifying this on every famous person as opposed to just his circle of degenerate friends.
Again, look at the number of people who get accused, and I do believe some people get accused inappropriately, like Marilyn Manson. From what we've heard of the story,
Oh yeah,
sorry, you agreed to shit. That's on you.
yeah. Same with Louis C.K.
But there's also some of them out there, like your friend here, comes out and admits that he did it. It's the alcohol, though, Jack. It's the alcohol. And that is why he brings up alcohol in this. It's because his little friend came out like, yeah, it was the alcohol.
Yeah, blame everybody else. No taking responsibility. His
Right?
friend sounds like a woman.
That it's going to come out, right?
Ew.
Right. It's going to come out, Jack. That's part of the problem. Is it's going to come out.
It's gonna, yeah.
I
Before
don't
we
think
went
that's a
on air,
problem.
I compared this to the South Park episode with the priests.
Yes,
And I thought that was an apt analogy.
it was really good.
How do we keep these kids from talking? No,
Yes.
no, don't touch the kids.
Yeah. What's his name? Father, I forget his name, but he's up there trying to talk to him. He's like, yeah, this is a problem. And it sounds like they're all on his side until one of them said, yeah, well, how do we keep the kids from talking? And he's like, wait, what? Ethan, your friends are those priests, man.
Yeah.
That's your friends group. They're actually out there doing this shit. That is the problem. Not the women coming forward about it. Like the other one, and I don't know if Ethan knows that guy, but the one that went big on Twitch because that girl passed out and this guy kept coming in, rubbing her breast because he was checking for a heartbeat, Jack.
Oh, is that how you do that now?
Yeah, that's what it was. And this was covered up. Father Maxey, thank you. This was covered up by the Twitch community, and this girl was outcast for other people bringing it up. She wasn't even the one who told the story originally. And they outcast her from this group, which was a really huge group over there. What's it called? OMX. I forget the fucking title that they give these stupid groups. And then a year later, it just comes out because of a Twitter argument. And then suddenly everybody's like, well, yeah, that might be a problem. He was sexually assaulting a passed out woman at a party. You guys should, OTK, thank you. They should have called the fucking police. And instead, they went around and trashed this woman to anybody who tried to even do anything with her. If you were going to stream with her, you'd get an email from one of these assholes being like, hey, this woman, she's not a good person to hang around with. It's a real thing they did to this woman. This group of liberal fucking people. You know how it is, Jack. All right, I don't care about this right here. I want to jump ahead. I think about 442-ish. So we'll go right here. This part gets funny, Jack.
You take
This is just
extra
sad.
care.
Well, it's funny to me that Ethan talks like this instead of just coming out and going, guys, stop raping women. Stop forcing women to have sex with you if they don't want to have sex with you. Stop pushing yourself on women. Even then, Jack, if they agree to it, they still agree to it. But if you want to go out there and go, hey, don't be a sex pest, fine, that's great. But that's not what he does. Instead, you have to stop having all one-night stands. We skipped this little part, but this is what he's talking about. You got to stop having one-night stands with people, especially if they're fans of yours, because they're going to come out and accuse you of this. It doesn't happen to everybody, asshole. There's tons of people out there smashing puss constantly that don't get accused of rape or even sex pestery. That's your friends. I cannot. Susan, I need to talk to you. Now I know why Susan really likes him. Susan likes anybody who gets into any kind of sex pestery. We know this about her. So I suddenly understand why she likes Ethan, because he's on that same page. They must have a lot of shared friend groups.
Has Ethan ever been to Epstein Island?
He might have his own. He's rich and famous, don't you know?
Oh yeah.
You know what I actually thought? Because there's rumors out there. I was wondering if he was coming out against one night stands with your fans because of his wife.
Did she have a one night stand?
There's rumors. I cannot confirm them, but you know,
Well, they have kids, right?
yeah, and the youngest one kind of looks like Keemstar.
I was about to say that. Oh, hey, real quick. Thank you,
Sure.
Atheist Icon. This shit's been going on since 03 in the Air Force. I got a letter of reprimand because I thought the alcohol/regret equals rape went both ways. I asked, who do I need to talk to report my 2 rapes? I was then told I couldn't be raped. That's fucked up.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
right though. Men, there's definitely a bias against men on that front.
well, look, for the longest time, I believe it was all laws in the United States. It's changed a little bit, but for the longest time, men couldn't be raped. Rape was defined as penis and vagina sex.
Yeah.
There had to be a penis taking somebody for it to be rape. Anyway.
And real quick, thank you. Understatement who says, guess I'm ranting understatement tonight. These women go after these men. That's true. A lot of them do.
Yeah.
These stories always have the man magically end up in bed, then sex just happens. Ethan wants to police other men instead of telling women to stop being clout chasing hoes. See, that is a big part of it that they're skipping over in the usual male feminist way.
In this case, one of the stories about this guy is that he was invited to stay at some girl's house, and she told him in the invite, no sex. This is not to have any kind of sex. We are not fucking. And she goes to sleep, and he climbs into bed with her. So I hear what you're saying, but you do have to understand that, yeah, there's a lot of women who do the clout chasing and stuff, but there are actual sex pests as well. And I keep bringing that part up because, well, Ethan has shitty friends.
Yeah.
I like pointing out that these little fucking feminist pieces of shit, these white knights for Amaranth, all of that shit goes out the window when it's how they themselves behave. They will tell you how you have to behave.
Yeah, well, Ethan's doing 2 things. He's covering for his friends, and he's saying all women are incapable of rational thought. So it's a little bit of both.
Wait for it. A
little bit of a white knight.
Wait for it. Did she then consent? Yes, she still consented eventually, but it doesn't make it any less sex pestery. Again, not taking the responsibility off of her. Ladies, I can't say this enough. If you mean no, say no.
Yeah, we're not saying this was rape. We're saying this was pathetic male feminist coercion.
Yep, and we've seen this from male feminists over and over and over again. And the hypocrisy, we talked about this earlier. These are the guys who will tell you don't act like that, and then they do. He's friends with Chank's cousin. Yep, he's or Chank's nephew with Hassan Piker. Yep.
Your sexual partners, because listen, the truth is that women have been used and abused for a long fucking time.
See, that's why I was like, wait for it, Jack, because I knew that line was coming up. Women have been used and abused for a long fucking time.
There have always been these women. I'm so tired of this shit. Understatement's right. There's a really good percentage, a really high percentage of these chicks that go looking for the dick from these famous guys.
Yes. And there's a new thing that's happened with this, because back in the day, Jack, these, especially like take a rock groupie, they'd go out there, they'd bang their rock star, and then they'd move on to the next rock star. These days, you have these chicks who go out there and they will bang a YouTuber, and then they can get famous off of it.
Yeah.
You didn't see many people get famous off of banging a rock star. Maybe somebody like Bobby Brown. Usually what would happen is maybe they'd end up in Playboy and they'd be on Married with Children one day. But otherwise, they just nobody ever even knew their fucking names.
No, there was the one chick photographer that would bang a bunch of people, and she got a bunch of stuff published.
Mm-hmm.
That was about it.
Yeah, it had to be something different like that.
Yeah, they'd have to write like a tell-all book about something, and have some kind of acknowledgement from these people that they banged her, but otherwise it was just ludicrous.
And it feels super weird that men are now having to be held accountable.
That's not something you should say, Ethan. Yeah, it feels weird that men have to be held accountable. What?
It's probably not a good way to phrase that. You can tell he's doing this like off the top of his head.
And he's not a smart man.
No, he's really not.
For what they're doing. And y'all,
It's not Willie Brown. It's you're see, that's that Willie Brown. That's Cherry Pie. Bobby Brown did get famous from Cherry Pie, but she also ended up marrying what's his name?
I guess, aren't ready for that. But I'm just saying, you're not going to get away. You don't get away with it anymore. So like this advice is as much for the men, it's for the men to protect themselves and to protect the women.
Okay. I like how he puts the guys first there. This is to protect the guys who are behaving inappropriately with women.
No, his friends that are behaving inappropriately with women.
Oh, and the women.
Yeah, and the women's. If he's really worried about the women, that would have been first.
This is the problem, Ethan. You're the kind of guy who makes excuses for your friends, and you're trying to make it sound as like, hey, yeah, you guys got to stop this. But what needs to stop here is the casual sex, the one night stand. He goes after the one night stand a lot in this, Jack. That's what needs to stop to protect you.
That consensual one night stands.
Yeah, consensual one night stands nobody bitches about. Well, hashtag not all. But I think you can prove over and over again that there's tons of people out there. Destiny. I don't know whether you guys like Destiny or not. Destiny gets puss all the time.
I don't get it.
He's rich and famous, dude.
I know, but he's
rich, famous, and he has a tendency to the women that he bangs to bring him on his show, which gives them clout, and they go on to have little careers of their own. If you're looking for clout and you're a chick, banging Destiny is not a bad way to do it.
He's the new Onision.
You know what doesn't happen to Destiny? People accusing him of sex pestery. The people who have done it are guys who are saying other women have done it with no proof. Mr. Girl came out with some bullshit. He was trying desperately to go after all of the girls that Destiny has slept with and be like, did he force you into it? And they all went, nah, bro. Thank you, Scarfy. Remember when Married with Children episode where the reporters clout chasing over Bundy's kid being abused? No. That doesn't sound familiar to me at all. The problem here, Ethan, is that your friends want to bang women who don't want to have sex with them. That's what the problem is. By all means, go out there and have as much sex as you want to. I don't care. Please use a condom and clean up. Don't spread diseases and shit. But if you're got any kind of fame that can get you some puss or some wiener, because it goes the other way these days as well now, Jack.
True.
If you're one of these people who's using your clout to get laid, just be careful. Do it with people who actually want to do it. Stop pushing yourself on. Because this guy, I'm trying to be very careful not to say rape or anything like that, because that's not what he's accused of. But he is accused of just annoying women until they finally had sex with him. You are wealthy, you are famous, and you are having to beg for pussy. That's a you problem, man. Thank you, Shady Grin. Ramen, get the spicy stuff like a man. I like the spicy ramen, actually. I just don't get it very often because I prefer the beef flavor. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I wanted to say on this. Look, one night stands aren't the problem. People sleeping with their fans isn't the problem. Although on YouTube, I really do recommend against it because there's a lot of clout chasers out there who will then use it as a way to try to get famous, Jack.
Yeah, well, there's that.
The problem in this case is that your friend is a sex pest. That's it. Who's now hiding behind alcoholism. He's going into a 12-step program, Jack.
Well, of course he is.
A 12-step program because when people tell him no, he keeps pushing. Yeah, all right.
He didn't even realize he was doing it, Monkey.
He even says that.
Yeah,
he says that.
It's fucking sick.
Anyhow, let's move along. Let's have a little fun. Go ahead.
One thing I'd like to point out here is, look, Ethan's mustache
Oh,
looks a
God.
lot like a caterpillar, like one of them
Oh.
hairy caterpillars. Because he doesn't trim it like he trims his beard, and that really bothers me.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to grow a weird mustache. Like, because I've seen guys who do this. They have a thick mustache on top of a almost 5 o'clock shadow beard. And it looks weird. Please stop doing that.
Yeah, that makes you look super creepy and bizarre. But also, it's just this whole white knighting shit is just so tiresome. Can we stop? And why is it that these leftists like this? Because he is a leftist. Ethan's a big leftist. They suddenly turn into puritanical people randomly. You notice that?
Well, he assures us he's not puritanical.
But he's telling people not to do something that it's wrong. This consensual sex is wrong. How dare you?
Buddha, thank you so much for the donation with no message. Appreciate it. Yeah, and again, this is all because his friend got caught being a slime ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't come out with this video before his friend got in trouble.
No, why would he do that?
But it is amazing how many of these cases that we see are little lefty pieces of shit.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a connection of some kind.
Like, hey, don't act like I am. Yeah, I don't, because I'm not a shitbag.
Do you think Ethan has any skeletons in his closet?
I am sure Ethan has plenty of skeletons in his closet.
I think they're hog skeletons.
They're the bulls that his wife was riding. Speaking of which, we have exclusive video of our little Tennessee harlot riding a bull, and I'm just putting that. This is just for fun. This is that Tennessee cop that got busted for humping the whole department. So if anybody was wondering about her moves, you can see it right there. She got a little bit of hip action going on, Jack.
Yeah,
she falls off though.
She sways her fupa back and forth.
Yeah, she does. She got a little bit of that going on. Now you see why the whole department was trying to hit that. Do you think they all hit it before or after this video?
Probably both.
Do you think they saw this and were like, oh, I got to get in there? I got it. As I said on Twitter, obviously not the only bull she'd been riding.
So true.
Anyhow, let's do some Biden, shall we?
Yo.
For some reason, this is a speech that Biden is giving on Martin Luther King Day. You would figure on this day he would be maybe a message of racial equality, easing of racial tensions. No.
And ban the number of bullets that go in a magazine.
Because that's relevant to this event.
I feel like talking about bullets and magazines on Martin Luther King Day is kind of inappropriate. That might be a little bit inappropriate. I don't know if you remember, Jack, but Martin Luther King was shot.
Yeah, probably by the FBI.
Hey, don't discount the CIA.
No, they were busy doing the JFK thing.
No need for any of that. I love my...
Yeah, it only took one bullet to kill King. Is this really the speech you should be giving today? For fuck's sake. And we're going to get to the worst part of the speech, but this part really did hit me, Jack. I'm like, is he really up here talking about how you don't need that many bullets? Wasn't King only shot once?
Yeah, well, it was a bolt action, so.
It's not like he got mowed down and you're sitting here going, hey, look, you only need one bullet. Not what you should really be preaching today, homie.
Yeah, kind of think you're missing the old message.
That is horribly disrespectful, my friend. Anyway.
Right wing.
Shot with a bolt action rifle, probably holding 5 rounds. Yeah, but he was only shot one time, if I remember correctly. Just once. And him being up here talking about, look, you don't need a whole bunch of bullets. Not the right time, not the right place for that speech.
Just because I don't need them doesn't mean I can't have them.
Look, it only took one to kill King, so you don't need more than that either. Really, Joe? All right.
friends who talk about the tree of liberty is water with the blood of patriots. If you need to work about taking on the federal government, you need some F-15s. You don't need an AR-15.
What's an RAR-15?
That's a really scary gun, Jack. That's the one that has the chainsaw at the end.
I thought it was Royal Air Force.
Look, if it came down to an actual war, he's not wrong that the military has a bunch of equipment we as civilians just have no access to.
Wolverines.
However, he just threatened people.
Yeah. Didn't the bunch of rabble once fight off the entire British army with a bunch of low-grade weaponry at first?
A bunch of rabble just fought off the U.S. military with mostly shit.
Yeah, that was during this man's withdrawal from that country, I believe.
The Taliban wasn't out there striking U.S. soldiers with F-15s, for fuck's sake.
Well, maybe.
Not until after we left them there.
Yeah, maybe they are now. Maybe he meant AR-P-15.
I get the argument about the government, but look, this is the president of the United States threatening people with F-15s. I don't know if you've read the founding documents, Mr. President, but they specifically talk about another revolution. That if this government, the one we have right now, gets too tyrannical, we should do the same fucking thing. And what you should be doing is talking, hey, we're going to cull back that tyrannical bullshit so we don't get to that point. And instead, I'm going to blow your ass up with an F-15.
Well, if there was a president in my lifetime that I honestly thought would attack American citizens, it would be Obama and then Biden.
Yeah.
Obama actually did it. He killed an American citizen overseas.
Scarfy, thank you so much. Lincoln 2.0. Yeah. And this is important with that Obama thing where he killed that American citizen. He knew that American citizen was there.
Oh, yeah.
He ordered the death of an American citizen.
Yep.
It's not like that guy who was a shitbag, don't get me wrong, but it's not like he got killed in an air raid where he specifically knew that an American was in there and killed him.
Yeah, that drone strike was to kill that specific person.
Yep. And that should not happen, Jack. That is
highly inappropriate, shall we say.
Almost like talking about guns on Martin Luther King Day. Jesus fucking Christ, Biden.
Yeah.
It would be great if we killed our own citizens because they dared to stand up because we were being stupid. My friends over there like to talk about how the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of patriots, but we have F-15s. Fuck you. Sincerely, Mr. President, from the bottom of my heart, fuck you.
Now, do you want to talk about his civil rights speech?
Which I don't think I saw it.
Oh dear God. Check third link.
I did see the one where he was at the black church.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Is this longer? Because I have a 13-second clip on that. What's this? Why is my internet going so slow?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We'll read that in a second. Let's watch the video of this part first, shall we?
Okay.
Oh my God, that's loud as fuck.
Huh?
What is my volume at? Let me check this. Oh shit. It blew out my eardrums and oh yes, that's way too loud. Let me turn this down a little bit. All right, guys, if you're wearing headphones, be careful. This part might be loud. This is President Biden giving a speech at a black church, it looks like. I like the little honky in the middle back here.
Hi, my name's Token White Guy.
He looks like a Q-tip among that. All right, anyway. Thank you, Donald Camp. He could have talked about working girls and trains on MLK Day. Look, man, it probably would have been more appropriate than what he did talk about.
Wait. I understand the bald old white dude, but who let the ginger back there?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of a Trump rally where it's like, hey, we got a couple of black people, put them in the back. Anyhow.
And let's say one thing to rest. I may be a practicing Catholic. I used to go to 7:30 Mass every morning in high school and then in college before I went to the black church. Not a joke, Andy.
Not a joke. Andy knows. You ever notice that Biden has done everything? Like he's Puerto Rican one day, he's at the black church the other day. He just did everything.
That dude is he's like the Forrest Gump of history.
He really is. Do you think he saw Forrest Gump and thinks that's him?
Maybe.
He's like, this is my life. All right. Here's this. Go ahead.
I do think that he honestly believes a lot of this shit. And what I got from that sentence was I used to go to church every day at 7:30 a.m. until I started going to a black church, which implies that he stopped going to church.
Well, he certainly stopped going to the Catholic Church.
Yeah, but it sounds like he went to a black church and was like, I'm out and done with all this.
Well, yeah, that is how it comes off. I did it until then. You should say until I started going to the other one long term. I don't believe you, Joe. And why did you start going to a black church? Did you move into the neighborhood? Why? You know what I mean? Usually if you change churches, it's either there was a problem internally within the church or you moved and you got to find a new church, as you're closer to it. So why? Is it just because you liked hanging out with black people who felt your legs?
Ew.
Were you looking for more little black girls to come feel up your legs, Joe? Frosted, thank you. Except Jill Biden isn't dying of hepatitis. I feel like I missed something there.
I think I missed that one too.
All right. Breaking. Biden falsely claims he fought apartheid, was in the civil rights movement in gaffe-filled MLK Day speech. On Sunday, Joe Biden gave a speech at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where he repeated. Okay, I got to stop here. I'm sorry. This man is supposedly a practicing Catholic his whole life, Jack. Didn't go to the Pope's funeral. Pope, the actual Pope, did not go over there. But for Martin Luther King Day, he flies his happy ass down to Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. He didn't do this in a black church in DC. There's several of them there. He had to actually go down to King's Church. This guy, he's such a shitbag. Scarvy, thank you. Empty platitude in chief, indeed.
Frosted's hepatitis joke was about Forrest Gump.
Gotcha. She didn't have hepatitis. She had AIDS. What?
Did Forrest die of hepatitis?
No.
Oh.
Jenny had AIDS.
We don't know that.
Yes, we do. There's this nonsense out there that no, it was hepatitis C. No, it wasn't. It was AIDS.
She had scoliosis. You don't know any different.
The dirty bitch had AIDS.
She might have had both. JB makes a good point.
Why not both? Sure. I believe it's the
chick
director.
looked like she had a few diseases.
I think it's the director who came out and specifically said it. Anyway, but Forrest didn't get it. Also giving credence to the idea that it was AIDS, not hepatitis, because it's very hard for a woman to give a man AIDS through heterosexual sex. Like nearly impossible, to the point where the CDC will tell you don't even worry about it.
Oh, Assassin's right. She died of climate change.
Oh, no. And COVID.
Suddenly. She died of suddenly.
She had COVID change.
COVID change.
On Sunday, Biden gave a speech. And by the way, somebody did point out that he wasn't invited to the Pope's funeral. I would have been like, no, I'm going. If I was a practicing Catholic and the president of the United States, I'm the president of the fucking United States. I'll go where the fuck I want to.
Well, they were afraid he was going to poop himself again.
goes to Atlanta in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where he repeated false claims about his supposed involvement in the civil rights movement and protesting apartheid in South Africa. This is a quote from our president, y'all. I have two political heroes my entire life. One of them was Robert Byrd. You actually called him your mentor. By the way, Robert Byrd, last known sitting member of the Senate who was in the Ku Klux Klan. Biden's mentor, his teacher.
High-ranking member of the Ku Klux Klan, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's got two political heroes. Huh. Let's find out who they are. When I started off as a 22-year-old in the east side of the civil rights movement, I didn't know that the civil rights movement was broken into geographics.
Yeah, one's from the wrong side of the tracks.
West Side.
West Side versus it's West Side Story all over again. You know, Romeo and Juliet.
I got elected to the United States Senate when I was 29 and wasn't old enough to take office. I've had two heroes. Bobby Kennedy. I admired John Kennedy, but I could never picture him at my kitchen table. But I could Bobby and no malarkey Dr. King. All right. Sure, why not? Of the two Kennedy brothers, Bobby probably was the least corrupt of them. And I would say three, but nobody ever counts Teddy. But of the two who were assassinated, Bobby probably was the cleaner of the two. But that's all hindsight shit.
Yeah, and even then, I don't think there was that's a weird bar to set, because how do you compare a family of total corruption? You know,
Biden has made, well, the only reason I give Bobby that is, I mean, he did go after the mob. He was trying to go after Hoover, where John was like, I'm just getting my dick sucked. John got famous so that he could get his dick sucked. He got famous so he could get laid. Ethan would really hate him.
Yeah, that's true.
Frosted Glass, thank you. He made King enter through the back, of course.
Wow. Check your money hole.
Oh, God damn it. Is that not going off? Let me refresh it here. I'm so sorry, guys. This stupid fucking thing. I don't know why it started happening, Jack. It used to work just fine.
You'd think after the last 2 weeks, you'd just have it up, checking it all the time.
Well, I was, but I forget. Sometimes I just get into the show and forget what I'm doing.
I have that problem a lot.
We have a couple here. Travis Gardner, thank you. If the country breaks down, it will not be between us versus the government. It will be like the Freikorps in post-World War I Germany, person versus person. At first, I could easily see it turning into an actual I don't know if I'd actually call it a civil war, but the start of a revolution. I think it would get shut down fairly quickly, because I do think that our government would be like, fuck it, kill them. And that should scare the fuck out of everybody. The Vol Potato, thank you. To be fair to Joe Biden, he was specifically told not to come to the Pope's funeral because no one, even the church people, likes him. And as I said, President of the United States, I will go where the fuck I want to go. Thank you, Ebony. I would strongly reconsider going to service if Joe was invited to speak at my church. Also, did you guys talk about the new MLK statue in Boston? We have not. God, that thing is ugly as fuck.
Yeah. We should
ugly as fuck. Highly inappropriate if you look at it in one angle.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, it's taken from a picture when MLK was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. And his wife, Loretta Scott King, is giving him a hug, and he's hugging her. And what they did is they took the arms and made a statue out of it and took out. I did think of that about this, Jake. They literally took the heart out of Martin Luther King. With taking out the chest, they took out the heart of Martin Luther King. I'm like, no, yeah. It's called the embrace. And if you look at it from a certain angle, yeah, you can see that it's a hug. And if you look at it from another angle, it looks like either somebody's holding a giant black cock or poop.
Yeah, and it's called the Embrace. Embrace the Wang.
So yeah, it's horrible, and they should be ashamed that they put money into that. Especially because if you look at it, the artist is clearly talented. The hands look right. Everything looks very well shaded and everything. But goddamn, it's ugly. Yeah,
it's hideous.
Biden has made several references to being involved in the civil rights movement, a claim CNN reports is false. In 2021, he specifically said at a press conference that he was arrested at a civil rights event in his youth, but there's no evidence of any such occurrence. I took on apartheid in South Africa and a whole lot else, Biden later claimed in the speech. How'd he take on apartheid? He throw on his Biden cape and run over there?
Yes, he went over there and be like, I shall lift you up, black people.
In 2020, an insider reports Biden repeated a story for weeks that he was arrested in South Africa while trying to meet with Nelson Mandela. He later admitted that the story was not true. Do you guys remember George Santos? We talked about him a few days back. This is a Republican who got elected with being Jew-ish, not Jewish, Jew-ish, and a whole bunch of other false claims. And the media is all over this guy. How dare he got elected? He needs to step down. He lied. Joe Biden has lied his entire fucking life. During the speech, Biden also said, I may be a practicing Catholic, but I used to go to 7:30 Mass every morning in high school and then in college before I went to a black church. Not a joke. Why would that be a joke? I don't understand that. Why? Not a joke, guys. I went to a black church. No joke. That's not funny. Just saying.
Now, I went to a black church a couple times, and I was like one of 3 white people there. Nobody said anything. Everybody was super nice. Didn't have anything to do with anything.
Well, it's church, man. They're usually not going to kick your ass.
Well, have you met me? It's a risk I take when I go anywhere. But no, I mean, I don't know why they're making such a big deal out of it. You went to a black church, so fuck it, you know.
I mean, I've been to a black church. We had black friends growing up, and sometimes you go to each other churches. I had black friends that came to my white church.
Yeah, exactly. It's church. It's not supposed to be segregated.
In his gaffe-filled speech, Biden also said to an unknown attendee during a non sequitur, "What's your name, honey? It's good to see you. Maybe I can have a picture of you." Biden, would you stop hitting on little kids?
He can't stop himself.
Maybe I can have a picture with you before I leave, okay? What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Gotta sniff them all. I have a theory on that, actually. You want to hear it?
Please.
Joe needs to sniff all the kids because he can't remember what his daughter looks like, and he still thinks she's a little kid.
I mean, then he'd be trying to bathe with them.
Yeah, he's checking them to see if they smell like his daughter.
Do you smell like her Barbie shampoo? Biden also tried to reference Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and said, hearing these words, and I quote, "It took just one generation of segregation to the Supreme Court of the United States," end quote. I feel like it took longer than that. Wasn't segregation ended in the 60s?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess he's talking about Ketanji's age. But if you're going generation-wise, we're like 3 generations past. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like most of Ohio was never segregated.
Took one generation.
It officially ended in 1964 with the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're talking 3 generations at least.
Yeah.
Those are the words of Ketanji Down. I can't even read his fuck up. Drown Jackson, our Supreme Court justice, took just one generation of segregation to Supreme Court of the United States. As I told folks at the Times, she's smarter than you are. Well, that's certainly true for you, Joe. But this is a woman who could not define what a woman was. She had to go home and make up something because she could not define what a woman was on the first day of questioning. Yeah.
Could or what?
Couldn't.
Gotcha, goo-goo.
Because if she had done it, if she had actually, given the definition of a woman, she would have got a whole bunch of pushback for it.
Oh, of course.
Anyhow, there's your president, ladies and gentlemen, out there being one of the most horrible race baiters I've ever seen, and such a little suck up, man.
Such a liar.
It's fucking stupid. I was in the civil rights. No, you weren't, Joe. I went and stood on a porch. No, you didn't, Joe. Shut up. You said earlier you think he believes all this stuff. I don't think he does. I don't think he believes it until he makes it up, and then in his mind it suddenly becomes real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he believes his own lies, and a lot of that's probably the dementia.
He's a story topper, and he always has been. If you go back to his lie about I have 3 degrees and I got the scholarship and top of my class and all of that, that happened because somebody asked him a question which Joe took as having his IQ challenged. Don't question my IQ. And then he just lays this whole string of bullshit. And he didn't have dementia at the time. He is just a liar who had to be so much better than the person who dared ask him a question. Remember him talking to that one guy? All right, fat.
Yeah.
He just gets angry.
Real quick. Thank you, understatement. Monk, could you imagine Biden going to a black church? They won't be able to tell if he was in the spirit or having another stroke. And his testimony be 3 hours long. You're black enough to get that.
Yeah, I hear you.
I remember meeting Jesus.
I'm honestly shocked that he didn't come out and he's like, I met Martin Luther King one time. Me and him had a beer together. No malarkey. No joke.
I could hear him saying that.
Yeah. Why wouldn't he? He lies about everything else. And see, this is what I was talking about with the George Santos thing. He gets away with all of it. Everybody knows he's full of shit. Everybody knows he's lying. And that's no big deal. This guy in Congress, who's one of 435 votes, he's got to go away because he lied to get into office. Joe Biden's been lying since he first ran for office. And he's, Senate for a long time, then the vice presidency, now the presidency. He doesn't have to quit. No malarkey, Joe.
No malarkey. I sense a lot of malarkey.
I'm going to be honest with you, Jack. I don't know if there's any malarkey there or not. I do know there's a bunch of bullshit.
I think that's what malarkey means, isn't it?
That's what it used to mean, but I think Joe's using a different version of the word because it is entirely bullshit. All right, what else we got tonight? Let's see. Did I cover everything up there? Oh, no, we got to watch the Fauci thing. We got a Fauci video.
Oh, no. I mean, yay.
We had Elon Musk come out and, say his pronouns were prosecute Fauci. That comes up in here. But Fauci was over on Neil Cavuto. I swear to you guys, I don't watch Fox News. This shit just keeps popping up in my feed. I cannot tell you the last time I watched Neil Cavuto's show. We're talking a decade at least.
I don't know why anybody would watch Neil Cavuto. He's fucking irritating.
He used to have decent guests on way back in the day.
Yeah, but that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, and that's probably about when I last watched him. Scarfy, thank you. Joe went to a black church. Guess I know who that guy is in the white hood is from several years back. Yeah. Look, Joe Biden at a white church after that fucking glowing eulogy that he gave to Senator Byrd, he should never be allowed in a black church. He should be barred from them, actually.
Right.
Cavuto's a big lefty now. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I think he always was.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for the people at Fox News to come off as as conservative just by not being as rabidly liberal as everybody else. And I think that's what applies to Neil. But Neil is another one of those guys who got broken because of Trump.
Yeah. Add him to the growing list of people that just couldn't handle wild cards.
All right. I just love that this is the starting picture, both of them with their eyes closed and Fauci looking smug as a little bitch.
Yeah. And Cavuto looking like he's farting.
Like, let's have a prayer. It looks like they're praying. They're praying for Black Church Joe.
You know, no less than a lot.
Oh, fuck. That is low as shit.
Huh?
Christ. Can you hear that at all?
No.
Musk has said he has released the
Really
so-called
quiet.
Fauci.
Ah, son of a bitch. All right. Well, we'll just read it then. I'll throw it into chat so you guys can watch it yourself and turn it way up because I have no way of turning it up from there. Sorry, guys. This is from the other day, Jack, but he was asking, hey, Elon Musk said this, and this is how he responds. I have no idea what he's talking about, Neil. I wish I did. I don't have a Twitter account. I never had a Twitter account. I don't intend on having a Twitter account. I have nothing to do with Twitter. Nobody's accusing Fauci of tweeting too much. Unless I missed a story, Jack. Was the whole thing with the COVID Twitter files, was that because Fauci was tweeting too much?
No, I don't think so.
The whole question is whether or not you were using the power of the NIH and various other federal agencies to change the way people were allowed to talk about this stuff. And we already know from things that were released already that you were using the power of your office to take down scientists who disagreed with you. We know that. It's unquestionable. Rand Paul asked you about it and you lied your ass off. You would answer anything except the question he was asking you.
Look, answering questions is colonialism.
Right? Oh, what a piece of shit. Oh, that's not important. That's not important. That's not important. You know, I want to bring this one up just because it's kind of funny. This is a Keemstar tweet from earlier. It says, I will not be buying Hogwarts Legacy. JK won't be rowling in my money. And then he has all these things. By the way, this is not a real tweet. I mean, he really did tweet it out, but he's being sarcastic. He is not going to not buy the game because of that. This game, if it works out the way it looks, this is going to be a really fun game. It has the potential to be the biggest game of the year, given the fan base of Harry Potter, the nostalgia from older people who walked away from it, the fact that it actually looks like an interesting game and you get to explore Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and all of this.
So is it like an open world game?
Yep.
Is this like a Skyrim kind of thing?
Yeah.
Really?
It's open world Hogwarts. It's set in the 1800s, so it's way before any of the Harry Potter stuff happens. And yeah, you get to go play as a wizard. You start
I just heard that you were allowed to genocide people, and I was all excited. Now I find out there's actually open world.
Yeah, it's open world. It's kind of interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. But because J.K. Rowling believes that biological women are a thing, there's a huge push out there to just kind of destroy the game before it ever comes out.
I don't know. All those tags they marked on it really got me interested.
Vol Potato says a Harry Potter RPG would be fun. That's basically what this is. Dang, it's still bothering JK for being proud to be a woman. Yeah, that's what this all boils down to. It is all because she dares to think women are women. All free publicity, man, I hear you, but in the gaming community right now, this actually could hurt. The game comes out on the 10th of this coming month in February. It's finally coming out. It's like a year late. And the buildup to it is mostly a bunch of people who are trying to get the game canceled before it ever gets out the door. The problem is it looks like they made a really good game. And I hope it's as good as it looks, Jack, because I love Harry Potter. I've made no bones about that. The whole world, whether you think she can write or not, she built a really cool world. And I'm looking forward to playing it and seeing this controversy going on. It's just like, this has nothing to do with the game. J.K. Rowling is not in any way involved in making the game. She wasn't consulted on the game. She's not in any way, making money off of the game. She's not even related to the fucking game other than she created the world that it's set in. So maybe she gets a small kickback at the end from licensing rights, Jack. But otherwise, she has nothing to do with it. So these people are like, we got to cancel this because of J.K. Rowling. Yeah, that would be going to a black church because Joe Biden went to one. Technically, he went to one time, but not. Foreign Native says, well, I'm sure royalties. It's weird the way that because if you read it, there's an FAQ over on the Hogwarts Legacy page. And from the way they describe it, she's not involved in any way. I don't know if she sold rights to other people, but yeah, she's not involved in the game. Is it WoW? Not exactly. Somebody said earlier, GTA Hogwarts, and it kind of seems more like that without, police chases. It's an open world. You can go around, wander outside the castle, wander a whole bunch of places inside the castle. What else can you? You can fly on brooms, you can fly on hippogriffs, all kinds of different Harry Potter related shit that's just cool to see in a video game. I didn't kick Jack. He disconnected that. There he is. There we are. Welcome back, my friend.
Thanks. Chrome decided it didn't want to do anything anymore, so it just crashed.
Nuts said I kicked you.
I don't know. You might have, but
I did not.
But
if I did, it was excellent timing with your Chrome crash.
No, you kicked me so hard that Chrome crashed.
It's Elden Ring, Harry Potter style. Not as difficult as Elden Ring, but I guess that's a way to say it. It's a action RPG is how they describe it. It looks like a very light RPG, but it's open world, single player. Yeah, check it out, guys. It looks, if I did not, I questioned it. You questioned it in an accusatory tone, lady. There was a little sad face behind it. But check out the website. Check out the YouTube videos on it. Hogwarts Legacy. Look it up for yourself. If you enjoy video games or Harry Potter, look it up.
Is this a console thing or a computer game?
It is on console. It is on computer. It'll be coming out for the PS4 and the Switch even, which I'm not sure how they're going to do it on the Switch. In April, I believe is the date for that. But everything else, PS5, whatever the newest Xbox, Series X and S, and computer on February 10th.
Huh.
Anyhow, Randall says I wish listed it. Yeah, it looks cool. I wish the Steam page actually had the videos on it. All it has is still pictures, which is weird. But check out the videos that are on YouTube for it. There's a Hogwarts Legacy channel, and I want to say Warner Brothers has some of them too. But instead, I would just recommend going to the Hogwarts Legacy page, clicking on the media button, and watching it there. Switch will be in July. I swear they said the other two are coming in April, but I'll defer to you on that. Did you say it's a very white RPG? I said light with an L. Anyhow, why wouldn't I feel sad for you kicking Jack? See, it was accusatory and you know it. How dare you? Jack, there was a new Twitter file that dropped today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was stupid.
Was it classified?
It was dumb. It was really dumb. Mostly it seems like this guy hates pharmaceutical companies. Let me get to the top of this. So they share some emails of did a new piece from Twitter Files, how the pharmaceutical industry lobbied social media to shape content around vaccine policy. The push included direct pressure from Pfizer partner BioNTech to censor activists demanding low-cost generic vaccines for low-income countries. And he talks a lot about the low-income push here at the top, including a little article on it. And then he brings us this. That brings us to Twitter. The global lobbying blitz included direct pressure on social media. I don't know. I always heard of biotech. Is that N really supposed to be there? But anyway, which developed Pfizer's vaccine. They reached out to Twitter and requested them to directly censor users tweeting at them to ask for generic low-cost vaccines. Not exactly true. And then he does this, Jack. He shows us this screenshot. I don't know if you noticed, it's in German.
I thought I forgot English for a minute there.
Nope. He sends us he shows us the German email, which is fine, but he should have had a translation on there. From the translations that I've seen, they didn't ask people to censor, or they didn't ask Twitter to censor other people. They asked Twitter to hide their own account so that they couldn't be tagged. They asked them to, hang on. I think do I have the guy? Oh yeah, right here. On Friday evening, this is one of the reported translations, and all of the other ones I've seen are basically the same. On Friday evening, December 11th, 2020, the BSI received information about an online campaign against vaccine manufacturers. For Monday, December 14th, 2020, activists are calling for online campaigns in the name of fair COVID vaccine distribution. As part of the online campaigns, people are encouraged to contact biotech and our managing directors via social media. Could you please help us to hide our biotech Twitter account for 2 days on Sunday so that comments, etc., are no longer possible? And it says many pit. I don't know if that's a translation error or what the fuck that is. All you had to do, dude, was turn off your account for 2 days. Would have done the same thing. It's pretty easy. But yeah, this isn't the same kind of censorship we've been talking about with other things, where you actually see somebody getting censored, which leads to another problem with this whole thing. Is in this, oh shit, I closed it. I didn't mean to do that. Twitter's reps responded quickly to farmer requests, which also was backed up by the German government. A lobbyist in Europe asked the content moderation team to monitor the account of Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and of activist hashtags like People's Vaccine. This guy's really upset that the vaccine manufacturers didn't share patents. There was a big push for this for a while. We got to make it free for everybody, and everybody should be able to make it. And that's not how drugs work, and it's never how drugs have worked. Because if you make it, you should be the one who profits off of it. I do believe that 100%, Jack. It's for the good of humanity. Well, the government's all paid for it anyway, so shut up. It was free everywhere. Oddly, except for Africa, where apparently they didn't have a big outbreak, Jack. Odd. Wonder how that happened.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. It only seemed to affect white people. The potential fake accounts that Twitter monitored for protesting Pfizer, these were real people. Here's one on the Twitter team flagged for potential terms of use violations. I talked to Terry, a 74-year-old retired bricklayer in the UK, on phone. Shows a tweet. This is a problem with the newer Twitter files that we've seen. He says this, that Twitter was monitoring them, and I don't disagree with him, but I do wonder why they didn't show the communications of that. You know what I mean? Because we have communications on all of these other things. Why is there not the communication on that one? It's not clear if Twitter's actions, or the actions Twitter ultimately took on this particular request, Several Twitter employees noted in subsequent messages that none of the activism constituted abuse, but the company continued to monitor tweets. And this is where I get to the part that really bugged me about today's drop, Jack. In a separate push, Pfizer and Moderna's lobbying group Bio fully funded a special content moderation campaign designed by a contractor called Public Good Projects, which worked with Twitter to set content moderation rules around COVID misinformation. So here we have, I don't know what that who sound is. That's coming from his side. Jack, you got an owl over there?
No, I have a heater on.
Oh, it might have been that when it did it like just kick on a minute ago.
No, it's been on the whole time.
Huh. It was real quick. It only happened a couple of times. No big deal.
Oh.
And it was really low. So this right here, number 9. I would have liked to seen the documents regarding this. I would like to have seen what exactly the content moderation decisions were. In the original drops, we were actually, seeing the interactions with Yoel and the JJ and all of that. In this, we're just told it happens. And we're getting back to normal, everyday kind of journalism. Here, take my word for it. And again, I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm sure this probably happened. And he goes on to show that Bio gave $1.275 million to the campaign. But how did it actually affect Twitter? That's my question. Look, I understand that they're going to have companies out there who are putting pressure on them. But the companies don't have the same kind of, I don't want to say, the same kind of backing that the U.S. government does, that the German government does, what he talks about in an earlier tweet. But this is actual content moderation. What was that moderation? I'd like to see that. And instead, it just goes on to tell us, that there was money that was paid for. And then it says, some of it was, many of the tweets Bio-funded campaign focused on were truly unhinged misinfo, like claims that the vaccine included microchips. But others, stronger lobbied Twitter on, were more of a gray area, like vaccine passports and vaccine mandates, policies that coerce vaccination. But they don't actually show us this stuff. I want to see the behind the scenes stuff. Isn't that what this is all supposed to be about? Bringing light to it? Maybe I just got spoiled by the original drops. Scarfy, thank you. Harry Potter and the 41% Harry Potter and the Scramble for Africa Harry Potter and the Manifest Destiny Harry Potter and the Chamber of Congress. Wow. Thank you for the donation.
That's a lot of Harry Potter there.
But they didn't really this drop. I mean, it's literally at the end right here. It didn't really show us anything. It told us a couple of things that are perfectly believable, but not necessarily groundbreaking. I wanted to see the behind the scenes stuff. I want to see what that group was working on. I want to see, their things like their trust and safety councils that they built with people like Cat Black. I want to see what's going on with all that. That's the kind of stuff I'm interested in, not just some reporter telling me that, this happened. But anyway, the newest Twitter drop, not much of a Twitter drop. And don't care about that. I want to. No. There's several of these, Jack. It was like, we could get content out of it, but how do you say it? It's not Davos. How do you say it? Is it Davos?
Davos.
Davos is going on right now. Everybody's coming together. You tweeted out that video from what's her name? That cute little Asian chick. Savannah Hernandez. Sav says here on YouTube. Right?
I would be lucky to be her future ex-husband.
She's over there interviewing these people who came, all these people who showed up, to change the world. And there's that one guy who says, I came here to, let's just listen to it, shall we? Let's just listen to it because it's fucking amazing. I got to go to your page for that one because I think I just answered on it. You guys know what this Davos? Say it again?
Davos.
Davos. You know what this is, right, guys? This is Oh wait, I
No, Raymond, that's Davros.
This is the people coming together to decide to tell you to eat bugs and shit. Oh, we really need to go over. Oh yeah, damn it. We have to go over the Scooby-Doo thing too.
Yeah.
What's it called? Velma?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit. I would like to talk about The Last of Us before we leave too.
Oh, sure. I haven't heard anything about that, and the trailer actually looked really good. You're talking about the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, we have time tonight. We'll get to it. So anyway, here's Sat. Oh, she's so cute. Shit, I'm not sure I shared audio.
So adorable.
She really is, and she's smart, which I like.
Yeah.
That just makes her cuter, honestly.
Yeah, she's got that sexy mocha skin and the half Asian. Yeah. There's a lot going on there. Feisty little package. Call me Seth.
The first two guys, we're just going to let them talk, and then we're going to get to the second group.
That dude that's centered there, he's totally checking her out.
Oh, of course he is, man. Who wouldn't?
Right?
So climate change, of course, at the forefront for the World Economic Forum. I'm asking attendees what their view on climate change is, what they think about the issue.
It's a very prevalent issue, and it's pretty ignorant to think it doesn't exist.
Fuck you.
Clearly a real thing. The ice caps are melting. The world's coming down.
I mean, this is a
pronounced Davos. Remember, I'm from Michigan, and here in Michigan, that name is very popular. There's a very wealthy family here, the DeVos family. So I have trouble with that one. I really do. Okay, so that guy told us, the ice caps are melting. He's obviously been reading his Newsweek from 1995, and he's really worried about it. I want you guys look how cold it is here. Climate change. They're all bundled up. There's snow on the ground, snow everywhere. And then she talks to these two retards.
The world's coming down.
I mean, this is a collection of the 2,500 probably most powerful people in the economy right now. Honestly, I'm here to just find out what they're going to do to try and do something about the fact that there's no snow here this year.
Yep, that's what he said. I'm here to find out what they're going to do about the fact that there's no snow here this year.
Look, I understand Informer was a good song, but that dude can't be everywhere.
No, he's got other obligations sometimes,
He's got a licky boom boom down somewhere else. Plus he's Canadian, and
sometimes Tone Loc shows up instead.
Yeah, and you get some funky cold Medina.
They're going to make it snow. I know, right? What the fuck do you expect them to do about there not being enough snow?
Oh, put that back if you would, please.
Oh, sure, yeah.
She let it go a little while longer from what they said.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay. Hang on one second. We're going to back it all the way up to the beginning of these two idiots. And then thank you, Scarfy. Harry Potter and the Two Genders Harry Potter and the Missing Email Server Harry Potter and the Sudden Wizard Death Syndrome. Well, with the missing email one, you got to be careful because there's two sudden death ones you can talk about there.
Yeah, there was the sudden wizard death syndrome caused by the wizard coof, and then the one that the Dumbledore sad army,
where you take two of your own wand blasts to the back of the head.
Yeah.
All right. I forgot about that one part. We're gonna let that play.
I mean, this is a collection of the 2,500 probably most powerful people in the economy right now. Honestly, I'm here to just find out what they're going to do to try and do something about the fact that there's no snow here this year.
No snow?
Yeah, I mean, have you seen these mountains? We sent a photo to our Swiss friend, and he was like, wow, it's really bad.
There was snow on all of those mountains.
That's pure blow, dude. That's all cocaine.
Could I also point out how dweeby these guys are dressed? Like this guy right here, he listens to nothing but the Beatles. I promise you that.
Ironically, no less.
These guys, I mean, look at them. They're such little pansies.
I would like to think those two guys were a Poe. Not these two on screen. The other two tards were a Poe, but we both know they're not. These are a bunch of fucking climate delusional people, probably trying to get their dick wet and some hippie chicks. But
look, I respect that. I mean, like a potato before you eat it, you got to wash them before you get in there. But there's some pretty cute hippie chicks out there.
Yeah.
So if you're out there to bang a hippie chick, good on you. If you're out there because you actually, no, I'm not a Beatles hater, Jim Beam, but there are a whole lot of your hipster pieces of shit who suddenly just globbed onto the Beatles for reasons I can't explain.
Yeah, they just found out about them probably.
I forgot what I was going to say. I got distracted by the Beatles. This is why I don't read chat. Guys, we're brought to you by you. Hit the like button, the share button. If you would, please consider donating Jack and myself. Link is at the top of your screen. Please take advantage of it. Toss us some money so that we can go hang out with the rich people at Davos and help tell you guys how you're going to live eating bugs.
Davos.
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 Thanos.
Potato. Oh, that's Joe Biden. My bad. Never mind. Wrong topic.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. If you're there to bang hippie chicks, I'm on board. If you're there because you honestly believe in this shit, you're an idiot.
Oh, Christopher Wray, head of the FBI, is there.
The 2,500 most influential, powerful people in the world are here. Maybe, and I'm just saying this out loud, we should tell all those people to go fuck themselves because people in power have been fucking people. How do you not get that the people in power are the ones fucking you over constantly? It's not your neighbor. It's not the poor guy down the street. It's the people up there who are making the decisions that you have to suddenly not use a gas stove because asthma in children. Like asthma in children is caused by everything, apparently, Jack.
Oh.
It's one of their favorite go-tos. Like, oh, yeah, it causes asthma in children. Shut up. Anyway. Oh, well. Man arrested on suspicion of terror offenses after uranium's found at Heathrow. Wow. How much did they find?
Well, you've heard a lot about this story in the past 2 days, haven't you?
I didn't hear about this at all.
Right?
Oh, that's the other thing. We do need to talk about the FAA, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. How is nobody talking about this? Like, I haven't heard any major media outlets cover this. I happened across this on the Telegram.
A businessman has been arrested on suspicion of terrorism over an alleged attempt to import radioactive uranium into the UK. How the fuck do you even get uranium? I'm suddenly thinking of Back to the Future.
You get it from the Libyans by using bowling pin parts.
Well, you remember when Marty's talking to Doc and he said, "All we need is some uranium." He goes, "Yeah, I'm sure you can get uranium on every corner store, but right now you can't get that stuff."
Wasn't that plutonium?
Plutonium, yeah, but same difference. Hey, the point stands.
Sure.
How the fuck do you get your hands on uranium?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
And how would you carry?
Lists.
How would you carry uranium safely?
Maybe you don't. Because I mean, you could probably put it in a lead-lined box, but even then, you're probably running a lot of joules. I don't know, man. Real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. I thought these commies thought rich people were evil. Oh, wait. That's only the rich people that disagree with them politically. Exactly.
Shiro says uranium is found in rocks. I know you can get uranium from rocks, but it's such a low concentration. To get the, I'm guessing they're not talking about he broke a bunch of rocks apart and had little tiny molecules of this shit, and that was enough to trigger a terrorism incident.
Well, Cullen said you could put it in your prison wallet.
The British citizen detained by counterterrorism. Oh God, a uranium butthole. His butt glows now. discovery of traces of uranium at Heathrow just after Christmas in a consignment of scrap metal intended for an Iranian registered business based in the UK. You were taking scrap metal that had uranium in it to Iranians.
Yeah.
All right. So instead of Libyans and plutonium, it's uranium and Iranians. I see a new movie.
Right.
He was questioned under Section 9 of the Terrorism Act in 2006, which created an offense of making or possessing a radioactive device or possessing radioactive material with the intent of using it in the commission and preparation of an act of terrorism. The use of section is incredibly rare. Yeah, I doubt many people are wandering around with fucking uranium on them with enough to be noticed. Because technically, if you're flying and you have like a collection of rocks, technically you probably have a little bit of uranium in it, but it's not enough that's going to set off a detector where like, oh my shit, God, we got to get this motherfucker in a prison cell. Thank you, Scarfy. He's building a nuclear energy source. Stop him. Well, yeah, if it's like unlicensed and unregistered.
Yeah, like I'd be very concerned this guy was trying to build a dirty bomb, because that looks like what he was trying to do. You're taking it to the Iranians at a scrapyard, air quotes. Sure. Nothing suspicious there.
I mean, it's possible that because it said they only found traces, it's possible that metal had been near uranium and some of it had got on it or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's also possible they already moved it.
It's possible. On Sunday, police insisted they found no evidence of a plot and said the incident was not believed to have been linked to any direct threat to the public. I hate that. Direct threat to the public.
Yeah, that just makes me think that there's something going on they're not telling me.
Yeah.
There's no direct threat, but there is an indirect threat.
Right.
There's an asymmetrical threat. What are you talking about?
That one guy in house had it from a scrapyard, so I don't know. Yeah, see, Merle, that's the thing. I mean, I guess you can, but the chances, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The arrest of the man, who is in his 60s, could impact already heightened tensions between London and Tehran following the execution of British-Iranian dual national charged with spying for MI6. The Iranian regime has also been accused by British intelligence services of being behind at least 10 plots to murder or kidnap opponents on UK streets in the last year. Be careful, not Ukrainians. Be careful, United Kingdoms. I'm just saying, they're United Kingdoms. All right, I'm going to be alone on that one too.
I'm just going to let you hang out to dry on that one.
Be careful out there. Apparently, the Iranians are coming to kidnap your ass.
Yeah, it's scary out there, man.
You know, sometimes I'm really, really, really happy to live in a country where there's two oceans on each side of us.
Right?
Look, it's not like we can't, the bad things can't happen here, but it's a lot harder to get that done here than just, driving across country.
It'd be a lot nicer if the southern border was covered, but
sure,
can't have it all.
But I mean, Europe is butted right up against Asia, and we know how them Asians are. We saw the trials,
right?
Got to be careful of them Asians. How come the UK didn't get in trouble for inciting violence against Asians with all that?
That's a good question.
It's a really good question, because they kept calling them Asians instead of what they are. By the way, our president came out today, and he wants was it our president or I forget? It was some government entity. Was it Blinken? I forget which. Apparently this is National Religious Day or something, and he wants everybody to remember it's okay to be whatever religion. I just felt the need to tell you all that. Just be careful out there with your religions, because
yes, some of them are a little more splody than others.
Yeah, you got to be careful how you handle them. Handle with care. All right, where is we don't have to watch the video, we can just talk about it. You sent me a video from Tucker Carlson. We talked about the FAA shutdown the other day, guys, where everything went down. They had to ground all planes because the system wasn't working right. And they told us that what happened is a guy moved a file during routine maintenance.
Like you do.
Which makes... Go ahead.
No, like you do whenever you're trying to upgrade like the one computer that centrally focuses every single thing on all of the air traffic.
Yeah, it makes no sense when you're doing a routine maintenance to move a file, because that wouldn't be a routine thing you were doing. Was it the next day, Jack, in Canada?
Yes. Do you want the video?
I mean, I have the video, but the next day in Canada, they had the same issue, the exact same issue. They had to ground everything. Their system went down. And then a couple days later, they had the exact same problem in the Philippines. And your government wants you to believe that all of these are randomly independent of each other. Where Jack brought up the night we talked about this, what's probably going on here? You probably have hackers getting into this system and holding it hostage until we paid money for it. And Tucker brings up that, when this has happened, when people are holding computers ransom, they often include, and these days pretty much always, include a demand that payment be made in Bitcoin. Payment be made in Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin? Because it's untraceable. You can trace a wallet, Jack, but you can do so much things to move that money around before it's actually turned into liquid cash.
Yeah.
That, they use Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the desired monetization, I guess, of criminals. So Tucker asked the question, if suddenly a whole bunch of Bitcoin had to be bought up so that you could pay off these people, you'd probably see a jump in Bitcoin. And sure enough, you did. A big spike in Bitcoin. It went up 20% from the time of the FAA shutting down through the time of the Philippines Air. I don't know what theirs is called. The Philippine Air Administration shutting down. We see this huge spike in Bitcoin because somebody's buying a shit ton of it. How much you think they got for holding the FAA hostage?
Probably a couple million.
Easily. It's our federal government, man. They don't mind throwing money around. The question is, why in the ever-loving fuck is our system even on a system where it could be hacked into? Why is that?
I don't know.
System.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a couple of years now. Why are all these systems not on a closed system where it's not publicly accessible in any way from the internet? It should be an intranet, not on the internet. We've seen it with power plants. We've seen it with the dairy industry.
Oh yeah.
The FAA. What was it? The signs on the highways? We see those getting hacked all the time.
Pine says, any proof is our only proof the Bitcoin price. No. There's also the fact that it happened to 3 countries in rapid succession who all use different systems. You think it's just coincidence that it happened to the United States and Canada over a 2-day period? I mean, I don't believe that much in coincidence, Jack.
I don't either.
Can air traffic be a closed system? It could be within itself. Things like airport flight schedules and stuff like that can be on an open system. But when you're talking about the nation's air traffic control grid, that should be on its own fucking grid. They're too lazy to build an intranet. Yeah, I hear you. Plus, let's be honest. Any proof they're connected. You know what, Pine Tree? You're right. It was absolutely one guy moved a fucking folder. There you go. Move along.
3. It was the same guy traveled to Canada the next day and then to the Philippines And he's just really bad at his job.
Now,
It's not
for
a
people,
coincidence at all. It's just it's just a thing that happens.
people who have a brain, I'm going to be talking to you guys the rest of the time. It's not unusual that this kind of stuff happens. And one of the biggest problems is that, and people in IT that are in chat, this is going to light up chat. When it comes to taking precautions, when it comes to security for whether you're talking about the government or businesses, there's just not enough of it. They do not put an emphasis on security in these systems. And time again, really simple things that could keep you from getting hacked are overlooked or ignored when they're brought up. When they are brought up to the higher ups going, hey, you know what? We really need to take care of this. The higher ups are like, we don't really want to spend money on that right now. So I think we're good. I think we're all right.
Well, we have a pretty crumbly infrastructure to begin with.
It doesn't even matter how high tech it is. It's so much of it is just lax computer.
That's
security.
what I'm saying. Like they're so unconcerned about fixing anything.
Oh yeah.
They'd rather spend the money on like, let's do some boring ass training that you don't need for diversity and inclusion, instead of making sure that their cybersecurity is up to date.
Yeah, and we've seen this time and time again with these kind of security breaches, man. So much of it could be stopped. So much of it could be stopped. Anyhow, what else did we have going on?
We talked about the poop statue. We talked about the ransomware. We talked about Ethan being a poop. We talked about the hoe riding the thing and Fauci.
Oh, you said you wanted to talk. We want to talk about Velma and Velma and Louise. You wanted to talk about The Last of Us. Before we get there, do I have the pictures of this? No, I know you did. What is it? HBO that has this on it, or Netflix? What channel?
HBO Max.
HBO Max. They have a new series called Velma. It's based on the Scooby-Doo characters. In theory.
Yeah. It's more like bad fan fiction.
I'm going to show you guys right now Shaggy and Scooby, and I am not making this up. There's Shaggy and Scooby, Shaggy being on the left and Scooby on your right. I don't even know what to say.
It's kind of racist to make the black woman into a dog.
It is a little bit racist.
It's also kind of racist to make the black guy a stoner.
It's also kind of a weird bestiality thing to turn Scooby into a person.
Yeah. So I guess the message here is that black stoners will fuck dogs that look like women. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to take from this. Shaggy was some ginger dude that, of course, they had to make a black person then because they hate gingers in Hollywood. I don't understand that. I don't understand how Velma's Indian or whatever ethnicity. I'm really kind of offended that Scooby is now a woman. And it's racist on top of that. But yeah, that's so fucking dumb.
This is another one of those times where they had an idea for a story and they realized it was really shit. So, you know what we can do? We can attach a popular name to it. We'll call it Velma. It'll be like a Scooby-Doo thing reimagined. Scooby-Doo without Scooby-Doo the dog in it.
Yeah, I don't understand the need to do all this race swapping shit. Just write a good story. But they can't do that. And Velma's a lesbian too. Because
yes, Joseph, that is Scooby. Yeah, and Velma rejects Shaggy apparently because she is a lesbian. So he hooks up with his dog. There's nothing I don't hate about this.
Yeah, it's dumb. Don't hate watch it because then it gives them the views and that's what they want. They don't care if you like it or not. You're talking about it. You're watching it. That's all they care about.
We're being told that he's not a stoner. Yeah, but she's not a dog, and we keep referring to her as a dog. Shaggy was a stoner. Shaggy is a stoner. Just because he's not a stoner anymore. He's based on the stoner character being what you were getting at there. I just don't understand why they have to ruin everything. Just make your own shit.
No, they want the name recognition to get the old fans to watch.
Yep.
Even if they're hate watching. And they have to destroy everything that came before. They have to tear it down, deconstruct it, and reimagine it. And eventually they get rid of the old version, or it fades from memory because the people that liked it are all gone and they've given up on it, so that it dies out. They've done it time and time again. They're destroying all these classic shows because they don't like them.
Just told Shaggy is not in this. That is clearly Shaggy. He's wearing Shaggy's shirt. He's hanging out with Scooby-Doo and Velma.
Yeah, that's Shaggy. Shaggy's real name is Norville.
That is Shaggy.
Yeah. And apparently Daphne is Asian now for some reason.
I mean, I like Daphne when she was normal. Making her Asian might be kind of hot.
Right? Yeah, in the first episode, Velma frames Fred for a crime he didn't commit so she could make him look bad.
What?
Yeah, that's the because she was mad at him. This whole thing is petty and vindictive, vengeful fan fiction. I don't recommend watching it. If you're gonna watch it, don't watch it on anything that follows metrics. If you know what I'm saying.
No, I hear you. Look, if you guys want to watch it, by all means do, but they need to change it because that is not Scooby-Doo. I don't care. No, it's Velma. No, it's not. It's not even Velma. What the fuck are you talking about? I thought Velma was always a lesbian. No, Velma and Shaggy had the sexual tension going on there.
Yeah, they did that crossover with Johnny Bravo where she was all into him.
In the original show, it was clearly Velma and Shaggy and Fred and Daphne, and then their dog, who, when Shaggy would get really high, they'd go eat a whole bunch of food that they didn't need to eat.
Yeah. Fred's borderline retarded in this, and because he's the only white guy, so he's like he's straight up should be wearing a helmet.
Ryan says, Norville, Shaggy Rogers. If you don't know Scooby-Doo, stop trying to say you know the abomination they created with that show. All right. The Last of Us. This is a game that the original one is like really beloved. The second one was mixed reviews on it. And there's that wonderful real anal rape scene in it. That's I don't know. It was not a great follow-up from what I hear, but they took this game that everybody loved and they've made it into a TV show.
Yeah.
And you had thoughts on that, Jack?
Yeah, I watched it because I do have an HBO Max account and it's on there. First episode came out and it's okay. It's an hour and a half long episode. The first 40 minutes is devoted to right as the outbreak is starting and you learn about his family, his kid. I didn't know he had interracial child, whatever. And him and his brother get separated. We find out what happened to his daughter, and then it jumps forward 20 years.
Why?
Because you needed backstory. You couldn't tell that in flashback.
I mean, that in the game, it doesn't start there. I mean, it starts almost. I guess there's a little bit there. It's not long enough. You could do 40 minutes on it. You could literally just cop the front of the game and the dialogue's all written, the action's all laid out. You got storyboards right there for you.
Nope, not allowed to do that.
All right.
It got a little slow because they're in. It starts off, after that 40 minutes of pointless shit, in Boston, and Boston's got this quarantine zone where people are basically safe under this quasi-fascist military dictatorship.
Sure.
And there's a group called the Fireflies fighting against them, and they have Ellie, and you get through the whole thing how Joel meets Ellie. The kid playing Ellie, not a very good actress, and she's really weird looking. I know
real
that's
fast.
mean.
Real fast, let me get this. Keldrick, thank you. Honestly, anyone who watched Velma after seeing the trailers wanted to be mad. Bunch of masochists. I mean, yeah, and some people were due reviews on it, so
Yeah.
People are weird.
Well, I didn't really play the game. I watched a buddy of mine play 3/4 of it,
Mhm.
and I was like, whatever. I was kind of half paying attention because I was doing something on my computer while he was playing the game. We were just hanging out. No big deal. But I didn't know that I don't have that attachment that most people do, and I thought the trailer looked good. So I was like, I'll check it out. Yeah, I heard that the second game sucks ass, but like I said, I've never played that one. I never played the first one. I think I played it for like 10 minutes while he went to make a sandwich or something.
I played the beginning of the first game, and I saw the trailers. The trailers actually look pretty good. The girl who's playing Ellie is actually a pretty good pick for her looks-wise. I couldn't tell you about acting because I haven't actually watched the show yet.
She looks like Eric Stoltz in Mask.
I mean, Ellie kind of does too.
She looks like Mr. Poopy Pants from Rick and Morty, or Mr. Poopy Butthole. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was the casting looks like good casting, just from what I remember of the game. Looks wise.
The costumes look fine. I didn't really have much problem with it. It was okay, but that first 40 minutes is a little bit of a slog because you're like, come on, get to the story. This is all backstory fluff. And if they make it look like that first 40 minutes is going to be more important than it really needs to be, because they make it look like that's the story. But I knew a little bit about the game, so I knew that these people are all going to buy it because it takes place in 2003. So I don't know. Yeah, she does look like she has Downs. But yeah, if you know the premise of the game, there's some stuff that'll be spoiled for you, and you can easily spoil for people that haven't played the game because of the secrets and stuff like that. But that first 40 minutes was almost a waste of time. It provided a lot of unneeded context that won't be relevant for quite a while. But after that, it really picked up. But I thought it was pretty interesting. I think Pedro Pascal is a very good actor, even if he is a douchebag in real life.
Johnny says the first game is great, not as good as they say, but I enjoyed it. And then Retro says that they made the fungus caused by global warming. Did they really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Global warming plays a big part in this because if the temperature warms up by even a few degrees, fungus can adapt to attack humans.
Yeah, that's how fungus works.
Yeah.
I'm interested in watching the show, and I probably will at some point. And people have said like his daughter originally was blonde-haired and blue-eyed, and it's one of those things they had to throw in just because that's what they do in Hollywood now.
Yeah.
And for all the people who are saying that the girl playing Ellie looks ugly and shit, look at Ellie in the game. She looks like Ellie in the game. She really does.
Elliot Page looked like Ellie in the game.
No, she looked like she had Downs. But I really hope that they don't ruin the whole show. You know, minor stupid shit like the virus being caused by global warming. I mean, it's not like they go out and beat the virus, so fair enough. It's stupid. It's a change that didn't need to be made. It's progressive propaganda bullshit, but does it change the story? Probably not.
No, it looked like they were using that as the usual window dressing because everything's caused by global warming in movies now. It's a lazy cliche at this point. But, you know, you had to have that. Just like you have to race swap some people because, I don't know, they think black people can't be good actors. I don't fucking know why they do that, actually. But, yeah, it was okay. But I thought the first 40 minutes was incredibly unnecessary. There was a couple of okay zombie type scenes in there, but by and large, really unnecessary sequence. It really should have been done in flashbacks.
Wasn't it done mostly in flashbacks in the game?
I think so, But again, I was half-ass paying attention to it while working on a project. So
I mean, I played the beginning of it. I played up until Joel and Ellie meet up. That's where I stopped. And for those of you who played the game, you know that's very, very early in the game.
yeah.
I don't remember there being a real long part about him at the beginning. Not 40 minutes worth, certainly. I did see somebody say, The Last of Us, it's showing that what we need to do with video games is when you make it into a movie, you can actually get rid of a lot of the violence.
Why? That's half the fun. Oh, there are black people in the game? Oh, yeah. Then I don't know. It just looks like pandering when they do that race swap shit.
The whole thing with violence in games, though, it depends on what you're talking about. A lot of the violence in games is the filler part. If you're talking a story-driven game, is the filler part to get to the next story beat. So like in Red Dead, right? There's tons of violence in there if you want it to be. If you're just doing the game itself, there's actually a lot less violence in there. Because you're not just running around shooting random people and throwing people on a railroad track or feeding them to an alligator. Most of the story is about you helping people solve this problem and that problem. A couple of bank robberies here and there, but most of the violence is between the part that you would make a video or make a movie about. Like in The Last of Us, most of the story part would be between fighting zombies, not the zombie fight itself. It just made no fucking sense that getting rid of the violence. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do anyway, unless you just want to watch somebody kill something for 30 minutes before the next story beat.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
Look, in TV, though, you got to sexy it up with a little action. It's supposed to be a show about the end of the world. It's going to be a little dystopian. So there's got to be some action and excitement. And monsters have a good way of doing that when you're playing, making a show about a fungus outbreak that turns everybody into like plant people or toe fungus, whatever. So I think they really missed an opportunity to make it a little bit more Walking Dead and a little less Hallmark.
Walking Dead's another one. I mean, if you watch it, most of that show is not about the violence of it. It's in between.
Yeah, because the Walking Dead are the humans that are alive, not the dead people.
And you need that to build up to the violent parts to make it. Game of Thrones probably did this better than anybody, where they build up for so long that when it finally gets there, it's like, yes, finally, this is what we've been waiting for. Although they did fuck that whole first season up. The end of that, I'm sorry. I know people love that show and they love that fat man who wrote it, but that was such a letdown. Like this was all right. Go fuck yourselves.
Well, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop on the show. I'm probably gonna watch it, but I'm waiting for somebody to be misgendered or some modern PC bullshit that's gonna, because they did a pretty good job with it. I mean, other than that first 40 minutes, that was really pointless. If they'd taken that out, it'd been a 1 hour show, basically. But yeah, for an hour and a half or so, it was fine. But if you're a diehard of the first game, I don't know how much you're going to like it.
I'm wondering how much they're going to do with it. Because if the series goes well, I'm imagining they're going to do, The Last of Us 2. And you'd almost have to get a different actress to play Ellie, because it jumps quite a bit between the two games.
I don't know. I think if they adapted the second one, they'd have to rewrite it because there were so many people hated that second game.
Nah, man, I need the trans butt sex. I need that in there. I need somebody making that grisly face into the camera.
Gross.
Oh, sorry. That when that came out and that turned out to be real, I'm like, you're kidding, right? And they're like, no, here's the video. And I went and looked at them like, oh my God, you put that in a video game. All right. Moving along. Eric Adams says migrants being given false impression about what to expect in New York City. Well, Mr. Mayor, who gave him that false impression?
He's one of them.
I feel like you guys were talking about how wonderful it was there for, you guys love the migrants. Stop calling them migrants. You're talking about illegal immigrants. Jack, I was watching some Civil War history today, and there was a quote. I forget who it was by. It was by the first leader of the Klan. I forget his name. He was a Civil War general.
Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Forrest, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point he says, hey, I don't want to get rid of the black people because the black people will do jobs nobody else will. This was testimony before Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound familiar to y'all? We can't get rid of them because they do the jobs nobody else will.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the last Speaker of the House who said that about immigrants coming across the border? Yeah.
Yes. Nathan Bedford Forrest was a slave trader. He actually had a shop where he sold people. He was a very bad man. Massacred a bunch of black people, the Fort Pillow massacre too.
Forrest was a shitbag, yeah. He had like one good run as a general, one good battle, and then pretty much otherwise he was shit.
Yeah, well, he was a decent general. He was just an evil person. And he deserved to go in a much less comfortable way.
Now, in fairness, he did renounce the Klan later, Jack.
Oh, yeah, later. Sure.
Like Robert Byrd did.
Yeah, right. First
El
grade
Paso,
was in the Klan, right.
El Paso, Texas. This first sentence really bothers me. El Paso, Texas. New York City Mayor Eric Adams. I'm fairly certain that's in in New York.
Yeah, well, he went down to the border because he said this is a national crisis.
Why? Okay, that makes more sense. Why is he going down to the border?
He wants border control now.
Oh.
Because the migrants they're sending up are crippling New York. I think he just figured out he can't stop them.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams said migrants, illegal immigrants, should be warned there is no more room in the Big Apple for them, as he called on increased coordination from the federal government to handle this national emergency. Hey, it's almost like the trick of sending these people to the places where they're talking about how great it is to have them worked.
Yeah, well, New York is a sanctuary city, so they should welcome them with open arms and all their sweet, sweet social services. Real quick, thank you, Frank. I was curious if either of you had watched Wednesday. Overall, I don't think it was bad, but definitely pushed politics. Also ruined Gomez and Pugsley.
I'm not a big Addams Family fan. I didn't watch it.
I am a big Addams Family fan. That's why I didn't watch it. The girl playing the part looks fine, but I have no interest in their gender politics, and I heard they did a lot of like really scummy stuff with the men on that show.
At the beginning of the show, you guys were talking about sex pests and male feminists. Why did Hunter Avalon pop in my head? That boy don't get laid. Come on. I did see Papa Gut was doing a review of a debate he had with a 16-year-old.
That's not creepy.
And why the fuck are you debating 16-year-olds?
Yeah, isn't Hunter like 30?
He's getting up there. I don't know how old he is, but he's an adult. He's arguing with a kid.
Yeah, that's weird. Thank you, Keldrick. You get what you asked for, sir. Yeah, that's probably true.
Godzilla says it wasn't bad. I'm guessing talking about Wednesday. I've heard differing things. I've heard some people who really, really liked it and others who thought it was an abomination. So
yeah, I'm just avoiding it.
Yeah, I just don't care that much about the Addams Family. So
no, I don't want to watch stuff that's going to annoy me because it's just not worth my time. You know, I don't do this hate watching thing. I don't understand people that do that unless I'm getting paid to do it or I want to see this. There's no reason for me to watch it. Hate watching just gives them more views, and that's what they want. They want you to watch it even if you hate it so that you'll complain about it online and give it free press. No. Oh, that was
Keldrick.
a reference to the New York mayor. Yeah, Keldrick. You get what you ask for, sir? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, dude.
Fuck New
Look,
York.
when it comes to things that annoy you, there are times that I'll do it, but it's usually for like the show.
Yeah, but then you're doing it for work.
Yeah. I'm not doing it just because I like to be irritated. I have much better things to do with my time.
Well, yeah, and even some of the streamers I see do it, I don't get it. You just sit there and bitch about it the entire time and you watch the entire show. If you hated it, stop watching it. Stop giving them the views. They count on that. They count on negative press to get people to watch it.
I hear you, but it depends on how much, well, let's be honest, how much you're making off of it.
Oh, that's fair.
If you did a review, say, of every episode of Velma, right? And the first episode that you reviewed, it's your highest rated one ever, of course you're going to do the second one.
I guess. I just think it's a waste of time.
I hear you, but people like to be outraged, man.
That's true.
Yeah. Plus, there's a lot of fun to be had at the expense of these kind of things. Adams was speaking in El Paso after checking out conditions in the Texas border city. Did they clean it up for him too?
Probably. Well, he was there around the same time Biden was, so.
Did you see that somebody from the White House, I forget who it was, said that Biden went down to the border and he saw the conditions? Motherfucker, they cleaned up the conditions for him. What are you talking about? He'd had a better view of what it looked like if he looked at pictures before he came.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is good advice in sex, too. Adam said he learned Sunday that websites are giving asylum seekers the false impression about what they can expect in New York, including that they will be living in hotels when actually it will be shelter housing. Motherfucker, I almost dropped an N-bomb here. Motherfucker, you just signed a contract for hotels for migrants. The fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, not even for the local homeless, but for the migrants.
Hotels, not homeless shelters, hotels. Now, they might not be getting the hotel treatment. They're not getting, their beds turned down and all that shit for them. They probably still are. But what the fuck are you? It's literally what's happening. What was that story? 2 days ago that he signed that?
I think so.
We learned today, which is very informative, and that's why it was important to come here, that there are websites that are advertising that New York City, basically the streets are paved with gold. Didn't he tell us that they had a brand? Your brand is that it's if you come there, you'll take care of them, you stupid shit.
Yeah, because they're sanctuary city. So
that
why would they not think that?
That there's automatic employment. Nobody said that. That you're automatically going to be living in a hotel. There's
well, you're going to get a bunch of free shit. That's for sure.
There's a conversation among those who are asylum seekers and migrants who are given these false impressions that if you come to New York, everything is fine. We have to give people accurate information. Well, what do they actually get, Mr. Mayor?
Oh, I'm sure they're getting food stamps and a free cell phone, probably a ton of free education for their kids, free medical care. I bet they are getting free housing, all sorts of free services, whatever they can leech off the system.
Frank, thank you so much. This is so not in my backyard. NIMBY, indeed. See, this was the problem, especially up in the north. Certain cities in California, like San Francisco, going, oh, it's not really a problem. I think they're full of shit, but at least they're actually dealing with the problem. They're close enough to the border that people are there. New York City saying, oh, yeah, we're a sanctuary city. You guys should stop being so mean to these migrants. Stop calling them that. It's nonsense because they weren't having to deal with it. It'd be like me saying it, Jack. I have not seen anybody of, let's call it south of the border persuasion in 20 years. The last time I know that I can say I saw somebody from south of the border was when I worked at McDonald's and a group of migrants, and these are actual migrants, I don't know if they were legal or not, come through for the cherry picking. Because there's a huge cherry picking season. Thank you, Scarfy. Just don't watch Hollywood in general, even when they make good stuff. They'll just use your Wednesday viewership to fund another Velma. Watch old stuff. Well, I mostly do watch old stuff, to be honest.
I would agree with that. Like Q pointed out, I dropped the link to it. They are giving out driver's licenses to undocumented migrants in New York. So that's one of your perks, Mr. Mayor.
He goes on to say, and that's what some of the centers are doing here. They are truly explaining to people that this is what is happening in New York right now. In New York, you go there, you're going to be living in congregated settings, that there is no more room in New York. That should be coordinated by our national government. Mr. Mayor, you opened that door. Sorry, sir. This is on you. Your bullshit lefty, we got to take care of them. When, again, Jack, it was the Obama administration where they might not have necessarily been actually going along with it, but at least they were still preaching the rhetoric of we got to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, because Trump, literally just because Trump said we need a border wall, suddenly it was like, no, we need everybody to be here. We don't even really need a border. Borders are fascist, Jack.
Oh, it's so true. No human being is illegal.
These border states should be sending these people by the thousands to all of these northern states, up to Illinois in the Chicago area, because they love to talk about it there. Lori Lightfoot, she's a fucking idiot. Send them out to Baltimore. Send a ton of them to D.C. Just flood D.C. with them.
Yeah.
They should be, God, with the number, 200,000 is what we were told last month. Those buses should be running constantly between El Paso and fucking Washington, D.C.
Yeah, but now his constituents are complaining because it's filling up a lot of the social services that were going to New York poor people are now going to all these freeloaders that are parasitically leeching off of America that were a Texas problem.
They're trying to pretend that this wasn't a problem, and now that it's actually hitting them, oh my God, this is, how dare you? It's such a problem now.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you haven't had to deal with the tiniest sliver of the problem that El Paso, the city you just went to, has to deal with, you fucking cunt.
Yep.
El Paso deals with this on a daily fucking basis, and they've been doing it for decades. And you had to deal with it, for 8 months now, Jack?
Yeah, maybe.
Scarfy, thank you. Underground Railroad 2.0. Fuck it. Make a bullet train for it. They're the ones. DC's the one who's keeping this a problem. Let them fucking deal with it. Yep. Sorry, Northern Virginia. It's going to fuck your property values up.
Too bad. That's the price you pay when you live around a bunch of fucking criminals.
Yep. So, Jack, we got a couple more stories, but I'm out of candles. Will you talk to the people for just a moment?
Sure. What's up, chat? Staying sexy. They need to send the illegals to every blue state and place they said were a sanctuary. Place they need to learn the border states deal with daily. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, any place that's a sanctuary city should absolutely be flooded with illegals. They obviously want them there. They say they'll protect them and take care of them because that's what a sanctuary does. Yeah, you can't say you're a sanctuary city and not offer sanctuary. Seattle should be 12 illegals. Yeah, well, Seattle deserves a lot. I want to go home. We all do. Screw the people of Northern Virginia. They're creating the problem. Yeah, well, you're not entirely wrong. Stay fit for me. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Northern VA is the home of the richest zip codes in America. Don't worry about their property values. Daphne did not eat Scooby. Just because she's Asian doesn't mean she ate the dog. Don't worry, Ebony. They have to let you go home when your shift ends. Youngkin will send them north anyway. That's fine. As long as they end up in New York. Because what a shithole that city is. Yeah, when they went to Martha's Vineyard for like 24 hours and then were summarily booted out. Like, oh, this is great. Bye. We learned so much. How's it down, Philippe? Build the wall around New York. I believe we have to build that around Manhattan, and then it's escape from New York. Washington State is blue, but Spokane would be all Eagles, not the fucking coast where the libs are. Yeah, that they do tend to cloister themselves. That's how open-minded they are. I'm going to start working out again. I need to do that as well, but it's a lot of work. We, the taxpayer, have to deal with it. Yeah, it's all the money that we're spending on this crap, all the resources. Think of how much medical care they're taking, especially because now everybody's got myocarditis. And all the resources your kids would be getting extra at school. It's horrific how much this is actually costing us. They're going to bankrupt our country. Biden thinks Manuel is a book on how to operate things. That's true. Oh, show myself? I could do that. Go watch my channel. Woo! Instead of doing internet dumb crap or watching porn, take 2 of those 13 hours and slam some weights. I'm not on here for 13 hours. But they didn't have to get the shot. A lot of people did have to get the shot if they wanted to keep their jobs. Still make videos? Yeah, I make videos damn near every day. When the Democrats declare bankruptcy, they will sell us off to the Chi-Coms to make a killing. They're already selling us off to the Chi-Coms. Who do you think's paying for most of their campaigns? And their weird backroom deals or spousal businesses, things like that.
Okay, sorry about that, Jack.
Oh, no worries.
I did not prepare for the show properly, apparently.
Yeah, that's right, Bitor. The illegals didn't get the shots, so they're going to survive when we all get heart attacks and die.
Calls. Oh, I saw a little blip on this the other day. Calls mount to stop offshore wind project as more whales wash up dead. Need to take a very hard look at this. I just want to be clear on this. I don't give a shit about whales.
Look, in Star Trek, they're going to need them by the 4th movie.
Yeah, we need them to talk to the probe. But otherwise, I really don't care about whales. I don't think animals should be needlessly killed. And if there's something that's killing them like this, we should probably figure it out and not do it. But just for the record, I don't care about whales. You know what did that to me? It was things like the Star Trek movie, which was part of that whole save the whales bullshit from way back in the day.
Yeah, from the 80s.
The only whales I like are killer whales. Otherwise, they just look like big, ugly things to me.
Killer whales. Aren't orcas like sharks or something?
I don't know what they technically are, but they're called a whale, and I like killer whales.
Oh.
Yeah. Plus, they do really cool tricks when you put them in a tank at SeaWorld.
That's true.
Yeah.
I did like SeaWorld.
Although you got to be careful, and if you're a woman training those guys, cut your hair because they'll pull you under and kill you.
Yeah. Oh, or orcas are dolphins. Oh.
Are they really?
Yeah, apparently. That's what Chat's saying. They know more than us.
I have no fucking idea.
Well, there's like 5 people saying it. I trust them.
I just know they're cool looking. They're sleek, and they do really cool jumps for fish. Lawmakers, fishermen, and marine activists are calling for investigation into whether offshore wind projects are killing marine life after a recent spate of dead whales washing up along New Jersey, New York coastline. Is it like the birds? They're running into the propellers?
I thought that too. That was exactly what I thought. But no, they don't really know. But I'm guessing there's some sort of vibration or sound that it's creating underwater.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Seafreeze Fisheries Liaison Megan Lapp told Fox News that the Biden administration initiative to build wind farms to combat climate change could be threatening the lives of whales, as an increasing number have turned up dead in various states across the country. I can't authoritatively say that all of the whales that are washing up are because of offshore wind farms, but what I can tell you is that the 7 whales that washed up off New Jersey in the past month have all washed up during intense geotechnical surveying of wind farm leases off the coast of New Jersey. What is geotechnical wind or surveying?
I think that's when they go out and see the ramifications it's having on the Earth.
So maybe it's not the wind farms, it's what they're doing to check out the wind farms.
No, I'm betting it's the wind farms.
Electromagnetic disruption. All right, now I got to look this shit up. Oops.
Did the whales explode? Not yet, but they've had like 7 of them die on the beach.
Let's see. Gathering information about the physical characteristics of soils and rocks that make up the land. Well, if it's happening after the survey and not just because of the thing, it sounds to me like the survey is the problem. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, I'm blaming the hippies on this one.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the hippies to be killing whales. It's kind of like a male feminist and being a raper, but I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, I meant rapper. I meant SoundCloud rapper, not raper. I'd never accuse them of such things. Thank you, Keldrick. Green energy killing animals couldn't be. Green energy never kills animals. Ignore the birds. I said, forget the birds. Must be global warming, obviously. You see, the reason that all the birds die from wind farms is because they're really hot from global warming and they see a fan and they're like, oh, this will cool me off. And they just get a little too close. That's all.
No, they have the sad sudden avian death syndrome. That's where we got it, clearly.
On the East Coast, there's been an unusual mortality event for humpback whales from 2016 until now, she continued. The only thing that has changed in the ocean in that time is the fact that there have been offshore wind surveys occurring from 2015 until now. Now, magically, there are a bunch of humpback whales dying. Do you think the Japanese are envious?
Well, no, they fucking hate the whales.
I know, and we're killing them without even trying.
Yeah, well, they don't get to eat them, so they probably are a little upset about it.
Probably a little pissed off.
Yeah, like, you're wasting all that whale. Can we come over?
Representative Jeff Van Drew, Republican in New Jersey, earlier Friday called for an investigation. Wait, why are they showing us wind turbines on the ground?
That's in Atlantic City. It's similar to what they're doing offshore.
I get you, but we're talking about offshore, so this is meaningless.
You're burying the lead.
Doesn't anybody out there not know what a windmill looks like? Okay.
Maybe.
I prefer the picture of the dead whale. At least it was related.
No. They only have so many dead whale photos. Apparently 2 is the limit.
Anyway, Van Drew called for an investigation to determine whether the survey work for building offshore wind turbines is causing harm to marine life. Yeah, see, it's not the turbines themselves. It's them getting ready to make them.
No, shut down the turbines. They need to do
you guys need to stop making them. Maybe find a different way to plant them in the ground or whatever it is they're searching for there. The only thing that changed in the ocean is the surveying activities that have been going on offshore for wind farms, which is essentially carpet bombing the ocean floor with intense sound. Yeah, now see, that makes sense because whales do navigate by sound. You're probably making them run into the fucking ocean floor and drown, you stupid shits.
Yeah, it's sort of like dropping a flashbang on a busy highway.
They need to take a very hard look at this. We know that intense sound can cause bleeding in the eardrums of whales. I didn't know that their eardrums bled. I guess it makes sense. And lesions in their ears. Now all of a sudden you have offshore wind farm surveys and you see them stranded up on the beach. Well, here's a question. in the ones that you got. Now, see, there's wind farm offshore. That one makes sense to have that here. I realize I'm easily distracted, guys, but that kind of shit like that drives me insane.
No,
This picture,
they already
makes
paid
sense.
for that stock photo on land, Monkey.
This doesn't make any goddamn sense.
They already paid for that one. They're not buying another one of them sitting in the water.
The whales that washed up, did they have ear issues? Because she says we know that intense sound can do this. Did any of these ones have any problems with their ears?
I don't know if they paid that close of attention.
I mean, look, it makes sense. It makes sense. Intense sound, whales dying. Maybe what you did was accidentally tell them, hey, go beach yourself. We don't know how to speak to whales, Jack.
Not yet, no.
Not yet. The project's been a key piece of the Biden administration's climate agenda as they continue to push for clean energy development. In July, Biden argued that offshore wind could create jobs and power millions of homes. You know what you could do instead? Put them on Nantucket. Lots of wind there, Jack.
True.
The problem is there's a lot of rich people there who don't want to look at windmills all day.
Boo fucking who.
Yeah, fuck them whales, man. The Kennedy clan can't be looking at windmills all day.
So they're going to put them off the coast of Jersey. And they'll all get tangled up with grease and oil. Ugh.
In July, Biden argued that offshore wind would create jobs and power millions of homes in the future. He also claimed that he's Puerto Rican, so is what it is. Save the whales, get them earplugs. Now, see, again, this doesn't sound like the wind farms are the problem. It sounds like them looking for places to put the wind farms is the problem. And that would make sense because what they're doing, like they said, they're blasting the ground with sound to find, acceptable places to find it. But that sound travels through the water. Whales, communicate through the water.
Yeah. Using sound.
So it's not that the wind farms are the problem. It's how we get the wind farms put up that is a problem. So
Well,
like I said,
if we weren't trying to put up the wind farm, it wouldn't be a problem at all. So
True.
I blame the wind farms.
well, see, wind farms are fine. If you put them in Nantucket, there'd be no big deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I think we should keep them on land if we're going to have the stupid things.
Yeah, line them right up on the coast.
Yeah, maybe aim them at a flock of birds. Oh, aim them at Canada so we can kill all those fucking Canadian geese that come down.
Godzilla, thank you. Maybe the giant squid are behind it. It could be. Maybe the giant squid are blaming the whales and taking it out on them.
Clearly, this is Cthulhu's fault.
You're a mammal in the sea. You're behind this, aren't you? Faithless said they still kill birds, though. I don't like birds. So that doesn't really bother me. The only bird that I like is chicken, and that's when it's served to me. Or if I cook it myself, Jack. I'm not like King Monkey over here. Bring me chicken.
I hate chickens, so...
Chickens themselves, chickens are assholes.
Yeah, they're douchebags.
But they're tasty?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have to eat them.
Chicken is wonderful, man. And but I hate birds. Thank you, Scarfy. Has anyone checked what happened to the whales that starred in the James Cameron movie?
I assume they all died of drug overdoses.
Probably. They probably quit because of the way he handles his cast. You said you don't like whales either. I didn't say I didn't like whales. I said I don't care about whales. I'm indifferent to whales. I don't like birds.
Real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Speaking to whales is like speaking to any other woman. Just if you get her angry, it's easier to run away and you can buy sexual favors with food. Wait, are we talking about the same type of whales? No, we're not.
Yeah, the kind of whales you're talking about, they're easy to calm down. All you got to do is throw a Twinkie at them.
Yeah, here's a cupcake, honey. Shut up.
Shut up, woman. Oh my, what is this? Oh baby, what'd you do to your lips? Oh, women, stop doing this shit to your lips. It does not look good. Okay. When it looks like that you put a vacuum on your face so you can get the big old lips, stop it. It looks bad.
let me kind of correct you here when you said woman.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. This is a dude?
Dude looks like a lady.
It kind of looks like Alyssa Milano.
It kind of does, actually, but that's probably a filter. It's the Who's the Boss filter, I'm pretty sure.
Nice. All right. Before we get on, I'm gonna stop here for a second. There was a thing on Twitter today, Jack said, who was your first celebrity crush? Do you remember your first celebrity crush?
Ooh, probably Aaron Gray.
Me too.
Yeah, she was hot.
Because my mind at first, when I saw them, like probably Alyssa Milano, I'm like, no. Jean Grey in Buck Rogers.
Yeah, Aaron Gray. Jean Grey.
Aaron Gray. Sorry, not Jean Grey. That's X-Men.
Yeah.
Aaron Gray. That outfit in Buck Rogers, man. I was like 5, and like that girl got a sweet ass, ma.
Yeah, I always thought she was pretty, and I liked her in ways that made my tummy feel funny.
Yeah, I liked her. I didn't understand why at the time, but yeah, I had a little boner for her.
And you know Aaron, what? I watched. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Aaron. You could have had my 5-year-old boner. You missed your shot. Missed your shot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Jesus. Me and my brother, when he was still alive, we rewatched all the Buck Rogers episodes, and they were surprisingly entertaining. I mean, it was cheesy, and it's obviously aimed at a younger audience. It was like wholesome 70s stuff, but it was pretty entertaining. Better written than any of the crap now.
I found that with a lot of the older stuff, because I told you I went back and was watching some Bonanza, and it was cheesy and clearly cleaned up for television, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
So if you guys are looking for something new to watch, go watch something old.
Yeah, you got to remember that most things were family oriented back then, because at 8 o'clock prime time, kids were still up. So like Knight Rider had they had to tone down the violence a little bit for like A-Team and Knight Rider and all those, but they were still enough action adventure that younger people could watch it. And it was relatively safe. The adults could watch it, and it was fine.
Little House on the Prairie. I never watched that.
We watched it, but I never really liked it.
I I never watched it. It's because it looked like it should have been in black and white. It's a true story. I didn't, because like that looks like it should be in black and white. That looks horrible. And I didn't care about some chick on a prairie. I just didn't give a shit.
Yeah, that show was a little too saccharine.
Go watch MASH and Twilight Zone classic. I'm not as big a fan of Twilight Zone as a lot of people are. It's not bad, but MASH, for a funny show, despite its liberal leanings, by today's standard, it's not liberal at all. But MASH was actually a pretty good show. Funny.
I was never a giant MASH fan, but we watched a lot of Benny Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And like, Are You Being Served? Flip Wilson. That's a lot of stuff you could do now, because Flip Wilson and Benny Hill both would do drag sketches.
Yeah. Did that little girl ever stop falling down the hill?
No, I don't think so.
Highway to Heaven is surprisingly watchable. That wasn't a bad show. It really wasn't. Green Acres was fun for its time. Same with Gilligan's Island is what I'm thinking of. Magnum PI was pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of those old shows, even as saccharine as they were pretty entertaining.
Yeah, like if you go back and watch Land of the Lost, even though it's got a super low budget, it's a Sid and Marty Krofft show, you'll recognize a lot of the writers from Star Trek on there.
Mr. Jack is secretly a super fan of Dr. Quinn. I fucking hated that show.
I hated the show, but I wanted to bang the shit out of her.
Oh, yeah, she was hot. Jane Seymour. Yeah. All right, let's move on with Alyssa Manlano here. See what I did? Right. I was subtle with that one, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were.
I am at the gym in Arizona. He was undressing in the locker room. Top off, bra off, and Paul Bixler was in the women's locker room. And he looked at me, and he looked at my breasts, and I have called the police. Until recently, he's used the men's locker room. So he agrees himself that he's a man.
Hey, you don't know. He could be gender fluid. That is very bigoted of
right
Herm to assume here. By the way, old pervert, don't go into the girls' locker room.
Well, what this is exactly what everybody expected to happen. You start letting men in, and at some point, somebody's going to go in and just be like, I'm going to go look at some titties.
All right, so is this a chick or a guy? I can't tell.
It's a dude.
This is a dude? All right.
Well, I think he's post-up.
What's that?
I think he's post-up.
The police that I was in the locker room, a man was in there. I was getting undressed. He looked at me. He is a man in the women's locker room. And the response is that this is a touchy, sensitive issue in society.
Well, yeah, that's what society has done.
Yeah, I may have read that wrong. That might be a woman. I'm not sure, though. I really can't tell anymore.
Facial features tend to say woman.
I think she's had some plastic surgery done, though, because those cheekbones do not look right.
Faith says, nope, it's a woman. Either way, I fall back on stop doing that shit to your lips. It looks stupid.
It does. It does. Much like boobs, your lips can be too big.
You want full lips. You don't want to look like you got punched in the mouth.
Yeah, that's probably why I thought that was a dude, because he went a little crazy on the Botox. But look, that creepy old weirdo shouldn't have been in there, and neither should that man.
I see what you did.
Yep, there he goes, women's locker room. There's the man going in the women's locker room.
I clearly saw titties on that dude.
Well, yeah, but they're man titties. This is one of the issues that people are taking in California, is because there's a bunch of dudes that are exhibitionists going in there and whipping their dongs out in front of little kids.
Look, we could solve this problem easily. Very easily. Just go back to how things were. If you're a dude, I don't care if you're in a dress or not, you go into the men's locker room. Oh, but it's unsafe for me in there.
Well, most places have the family changing rooms too, where it's like a single-use thing. Just use that one.
I hear you, but no, go change in the fucking men's locker room. It's where you belong. You got a wiener, take it in there. Anyway.
There's no one undressing in there. Hope there's no naked women in there.
Are you going to prove?
Why isn't it?
Look, I agree with what's being said here. I really do. But let's be honest about society. We saw what happened at Wee Spa.
Yeah. Well, California has a law that they have to let him.
Yep.
In, even though he was a sex perv. And that's the problem, is it really is blowing back on the transgender community, because you tried so hard to get acceptance and then you let all the degenerates in.
Yep.
And if there is a pushback on it, you start institutionalizing it into state law and stuff like that, instead of doing it allowing people to do it on a case-by-case basis, at their facilities. Then you start having all the perverts having a right to go in and whip their ding-dong out in front of a bunch of kids. And you think there's not going to be pushback on that. It's just not. There's no easy answer to this, except don't let perverts in the women's room.
Super easy answer. Atheist Icon said women let this happen until they push back. And Scarfy says, Scarfy's rule of gaming applied to life. If a rule can be exploited, it will be exploited. And this is an exploit.
Yeah.
And Assassin, thank you for that, Scarfy, by the way. Thank you so very much. And Assassin of the Gray says, hey, women, solve your own problems. This is largely a problem of female making. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones who are like, no, we got to be inclusive, until it bits you in the ass.
Yeah. And we've seen
tried to warn you.
We've seen 3 or 4 of these cases at Planet Fitness.
Planet
Fitness has that policy where they'll let people use the changing room of their choice, and somebody goes and complains and they get their membership torn up.
Yep.
So it's going to be a continuing problem. And I don't know where this spa is at, or this facility is at, but If they got a dude going in the women's room and it's in California, he's got a legal right to do that.
Beth says not all women are like that, though. Oh, I agree. But it's enough that it changed the world, honestly. And Q says, easy answer, use a single-use changing room. No. This wasn't a problem 10 years ago. What we need to do, just revert to where we were. It's not that hard. I get what you're saying, but no. Go to the dressing room with your biological sex. It's that fucking easy. That fucking easy. Anyway.
Real quick. Thank you, Keldrick. You got a wiener. Take it in there. No, monkey. Wiener's supposed to go in. It isn't supposed to take it in. Well, it might be really cold. We don't know. Thank you.
You're wearing a condom. It's taking it in.
Ew.
And Stevie said she said Arizona. Okay.
My bad.
Anyone warning the women? Just so everyone knows, he's not being arrested. We are at a point where we're catering to society instead of facts.
Yep.
This is alarming. Women's rights are being violated. And I'm not going to put up with it. So, Paul, if you're a female, why do you use the men's restroom sometimes and the women's restroom sometimes?
Please stay away from it, please. Yes, politely, like I said.
He will suffer.
And she's being told not to harass him. He was checking out her titties. Hey, don't you harass him. Wait, hang on a second. Listen to that.
Yes, politely, like I said.
He will suffer no consequences.
Please stay away from it, please. Yes, politely, like I said.
He will.
Did you hear what that cop said?
No.
He said, he asked politely. Stop harassing him. He asked politely. Thank you, Frank. Honestly, I think Blair could cause more issues going into the men's room than into the women's. If you're passing, go to what you pass as. If you're not, maybe change elsewhere. No, I still go with you go to your biological sex. Here's one thing to know. A whole bunch of these people who are trans women still like women. Why would they have access? And by the way, if a woman ends up like in the men's room, men are cool with it. Like, all right. But women tend to not like men in their space. And I'm okay with that when they're changing or going to the bathroom or doing something where they're going to be exposed. You ever walk into a bathroom and there's a woman in the men's room?
Only a couple times. It's usually when they're vomiting or having sex.
I walked into the Walmart one morning and there was a woman in there, and it actually, because I was tired as shit, Jack. I was like, fuck, did I walk into the wrong one? And I had to look for the urinals to make sure I was in the right bathroom. And she's washing her hands, was just like, all right, just walked right past her. And I was kind. I didn't use the urinal. I went into one of the stalls since there was a woman in there. But no big deal. Because I'm not afraid of women in the men's room.
I don't know. They might rob me.
I mean, there is that possibility.
They'll get their juices on you. Because usually they're having sex or vomiting.
All right. Did we have one more? Or did we get?
I think that's everything.
I think we got everything tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up here. I'm going to try to do a game stream. I just don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Ebony says, why do people have sex in bathrooms? Because it's somewhat secluded.
It usually happens at bars, and people are gross.
Now, look, bathrooms are some of the cleanest places you can go into in most circumstances. A bar is not one of those circumstances. People clean bathrooms. This is true in most homes, too. People clean their bathrooms better than they clean anything else. So, yeah. Privacy in public places. Yeah, that's it, Ramen. The bathroom is a semi-private place, even in a public bathroom like that. So we can't be out there humping on the dance floor. Somebody will take videos and we'll end up on the internet. So let's go bang in here where we have to use red lights in this place, because if we use blue, it would scare the shit out of you. You ever notice that about bars? They don't use blue lights in bars. The only place you'll see blue is like on a Coors sign.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because if they had it, the whole bar lit up in that color, yeah, it's going to look like there was a murder scene and it's all just spooge everywhere. I still think you could probably get DNA samples from AOC at her old bar.
Probably.
Yeah.
I doubt they clean it.
But the smell though, look, Ebony, not all bars bathrooms stink. They're definitely not clean. But if
we
you
are talking about people willing to have sex in a bathroom, so they're not very clean to begin with.
Yeah, these are people that are just trying to get their freak on.
Yeah, they're dirty whores.
Now, if you walked into one and it smelled like somebody just had a Taco Bell night, you'd probably leave and go to a different one. All right, fuck it. Let's go fuck on the dumpster. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end here. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for the donations. Are you talking about a black light? Yeah, I'm talking about black lights. And blue lights will pick up some of the same issues. It's amazing. It's amazing how light works, Jack. Ebony says, I guess. I mean, look, some people are dirty motherfuckers. They really are.
There's a lot of degenerates out there.
Yeah. And they're just that horny to get their freak on. They can't even like go to their car. Which, by the way, I maintain you should be allowed to fuck in your car. People shouldn't be looking in the windows of your car.
Oh, they should be, but they do.
I mean, if I'm fucking in my house and the window's open and somebody sees me, that's on them. But if you're fucking in your car and somebody sees you, like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that at Disney World.
Why would you have sex in your car at Disney World?
I had my mouse ears on.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for the donations. You guys are way, way too kind, and I do love it. But if you want to be kinder, the links are at the top, and you can always donate. And we appreciate everything. We really, really do. Jack, if you want to chill out,
I'll drop a link to a cool video. As always, thank you so much for the donations and all the support you guys give us. It's greatly appreciated. You're beautiful people.
Faithless says car curtains. No, I need the sunlight. It powers me. That's how my wiener works. It's solar powered.
Is that like when people were sun tanning their buttholes?
Oh God, I remember that shit. The butthole sun tanning. I'd forgotten about that.
I don't know how. I can never forget that.
As soon as you said it, though, I pictured it in my head. Because they were all laying in some really fucked up positions.
Yeah, and then some celebrity guy was like, fell asleep and got sunburned on his butthole.
Get the window steamy. Well, you got to work up to that. I mean, when you first jam it in there, I mean, you're trying to get it done quick because you're in public because the cops and everything, and people are going to call the police because you're humping in your car. People, man, they need to mind their own business more.
Yeah. I mean, you have a van down by the river to be secluded.
Indeed.
And you have a scenic river view then, which is romantic, right?
Ebony says, I couldn't have sex in public. I refuse. You should try it sometime. It's not that I've ever done it, Jack, because I'm a good boy.
I have. It's fun.
I've never had sex in public. I've never done anything but missionary. And that was only 3 times to procreate like I was told to. If you believe that, I have several bridges still for sale. Twitch.tv/rantingmonkey. I don't know what I'm going to play, honestly. Because seriously, Jack, I did the last stream that I was able to do. I did a 7 Days to Die because it was Horde Night. And that base is so ridiculously overpowered. I was seriously fucking bored. I have fun playing the game, but I'm at a point where it's just like there's no challenge in it. So, I mean, I guess I could just go try to get myself killed or turn on Twitch integration, which I hate. I don't know. I'll find some. Twitch.tv/rantingmonkey sometime. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Everybody have a wonderful night. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
If I'm humping in my car, just walk on by. I'm having a good time. I'm not even gonna lie. My wiener's in a pussy. and you're outside alone. That's all.